Happy Friday, everybody. Welcome back to my channel for No Offense, All Offense. We have a lot to talk about today on this Friday afternoon. So grab a delicious beverage. Hopefully you're wearing something comfy. Please smash that like and let's get started.
If you like what you see, come and get it with me. I know you deserve all you want, 'cause your heart's made of gold. But don't wait till you're old. If you want it, I get you some.
Hi guys, welcome back to my channel, stand-up comedian and pop culture vulture Joleen Lunzer here for another live No Offense, All Offense, where we talk about pop culture, reality television, our things we love to watch or hate to love, all the stuff. We have a lot to talk about today. Remember that if this is your first time here, we take a comedic look, we roast it, we react to it, we recap, we try to find the funny. Also, I'm very opinionated, but that doesn't mean you have to have the same opinion as me. You are welcome to sound off in the live chat in the comment section, and we can just respectfully agree to disagree.
That's my opinion!
It's just my opinion, you guys. If you want to support the channel, like and subscribe. It's easy, it's free, it really helps. Also, if you want to share out this video or my channel, that is helpful. But the sooner you like the video, the better, because it sends it out into the YouTube algorithm saying, hey, we're over here, we're having fun, and it invites people to our wonderful live chat where you guys are here today. Hello, Julie XO. If you want to support the channel further, you can always send a super chat here on YouTube while I'm live. I'll highlight your comment. We can talk about it. You can send a super thanks after the video posts. If you want some exclusive content, emojis, you can check out my YouTube membership here on YouTube, YouTube membership on YouTube, or you can check out my Patreon, whatever works best for you. And shout out to those of you who have hit me up on my Venmo, PayPal, Cash App. I got a Cash App from Gigi. Thank you so much. And I got a Venmo from Otter. So all the stuff you need is in the description of this video. If you're interested in any of that, you don't have to, but if you are, the option is there. Hello, hello, hello. Yes, Nana's in the chat. The birthday girl herself. If you missed our birthday celebration with Nana, go back 2 streams. We did it on November 20th to celebrate Nana's 70th, and share this, hit the like Nana's saying. Hello, hello, hello. All right. We have so much to talk about today. Okay, first things first. Diddy had a never-ending request. Okay, so he went in front of a judge today because he's requested that the latest 50 million bail request, he wants to be, basically there was no decision on it today. All right, so here's, according to Deadline, what just happened while they were in court. There will be no decision today on the Sean Diddy Combs' latest request for bail. And you might be like, why, Joleen? Why is there no decision on the day that Diddy is in court regarding his latest request for bail? He doesn't want to be held in jail anymore, in his Brooklyn jail. He wants to be let out, but I don't. My opinion is the dude never should be let out. But after a just completed contentious, they're saying it was a very contentious 2-hour hearing in New York City, a federal judge has told both the U.S. Attorney's Office and the defense team that he wants more clarification of how Combs has been communicating from behind bars in the 2 months since his arrest on sex trafficking charges. Judge Aaron Subramanian also wants to know exactly from both sides what forms of communication Combs is actually allowed by the Bureau of Prisons. So they had an issue with this earlier in the week, where some of Diddy's communications with, they're saying, his lawyers, that they were confiscated in jail and that they were on legal pads. They're making the argument and that they shouldn't have been confiscated, that he was allowed to have, it's a whole thing. And obviously our judicial process it's important here in the United States. It has a lot of issues. So they want to make sure that he's going to get his fair trial. And there's nothing, hopefully, within this or them taking these documents that can halt, him and this case. So there was a contentious hearing, and the judge wants to know more and wants to know exactly what is allowed by the Bureau of Prisons. So the feds and defense have until November 25th. So they have just 3 days at 12 p.m. Eastern to submit the information. The decision from the judge could come before Thanksgiving in what may no, they didn't write that. And what may be a pivotal consideration for the judge, pretrial services officials sided with prosecutors and recommended against Diddy's big bail package, with a trio of private security guards monitoring him 24/7 and enforcing strict limits on outside contacts. I think what we've learned from this Diddy case is that this man cannot be restricted. Look what he was allegedly able to get away with for so long. No, sir. No, sir. And tampering and threatening witnesses, allegedly. No, thank you. So according to Deadline, having said that, no new hearings have been put on the calendar yet. With family and friends nearby, Diddy was sitting there Friday, unshackled, in the Daniel Patrick Moynihan courthouse. The notoriously self-promoting rapper was denied bail twice before, but I believe this was by a different judge, in quick succession by other judges just after his arrest 2 months ago. Seeing a new civil suits filed almost every day. Yeah, we're seeing new civil suits filed daily against Diddy for his celebrity-attended, drug-fueled, videotaped freak-offs. Diddy is charged in the criminal case from the U.S. Attorney's Office with racketeering, trafficking, and transportation to engage in the prostitution. The 55-year-old Grammy winner entered a not guilty plea. Sure. Combs could face life in prison, knock on all the wood, hope he gets it, if found guilty in a trial set to start on May 5th. So Taurus season is going to see the Diddy trial. Today's courtroom session follows Combs' lawyer's most recent tactic of chiseling away at the government's case. With 2 newish hammers, they have been focusing on evidence obtained from a recent sweep, like I was talking about earlier, of the Brooklyn jail where he's in custody, and a video that prosecutors used to bolster their argument against freeing Combs before a trial scheduled to begin next year. So superseding all that, the feds have said over and over that one of their biggest concerns about Diddy being on the streets on bail is efforts to intimidate and blackmail potential witnesses and Jane Does, which, yeah, that to me is one of the biggest reasons to not let him out on bail. The defense team says the jailhouse evidence is privileged, attorney-client information, and the video was deceptively edited by prosecutors to persuade a judge to deny Combs bail. Sure. The material obtained from Combs' cell was photographed by a Bureau of Prisons investigator in a jail-wide search for inmate contraband. As for the much-seen video, prosecutors contend that all they did was blur the face of Combs' ex-girlfriend, Cassie Ventura, in the 2016 footage as the I'll Be Missing You singer attacked her. And we've all seen that horrendous video of him attacking Cassie in a LA hotel lobby as she was trying to seemingly escape. The harrowing video was first seen on CNN early in the year, looking ultimately to get the case tossed out. As he gets his client out on bail, Diddy's defense lawyer, Mark Agnafilo, wants the judge to consider removing the prosecution team from the case. Oh, my Lord. This lawyer dude is trash, in my opinion. So he's trying to get the prosecution removed. Oh, Lord. And if he can't have the indictment entirely dismissed. Soon to be under the new boss of Donald Trump, appointed Jay Clayton, Assistant U.S. Attorney Christy Slavic, countered earlier this week in a separate hearing that the disputed material surfaced during a jail sweep that was pre-planned by the Bureau of Prisons. She added that her office was not communicating or coordinating with that agency, and the material was vetted by a so-called filter team before prosecutors even saw it. The feds have also rebuffed previous moves by the defense to smear them with leaking to CNN the 2016 video of Combs attacking Ventura. Oh my goodness. So the Southern District of New York office of current U.S. Attorney Damian Williams denied they even had the video in their possession when it surfaced this spring. The office also said Homeland Security officials who participated in the raids on Combs' LA, Miami homes earlier this year did not have the video to leak either. So they're like, we didn't have it. They didn't have it. Try again. Somebody else leaked it. Soon afterwards, the defense dropped that line of discussion. So then they're like, okay, never mind. This defense team, oh my goodness. In response to the often passionate pitches from both parties, the judge earlier this week ordered the U.S. Attorney's Office in Manhattan to destroy all of its copies of the 19 pages of materials snagged from Diddy's storage locker at the Metropolitan Detention Center, where he's currently at. The once high-flying bad boy record founder has been detained in the notoriously harsh NYC facility since being cuffed and arrested in a hotel lobby, which we all saw in New York City by the NYPD and others mid-September of this year. Diddy is offering to cover a $50 million bond. He says he'll wear an ankle monitor. He'll stay off the internet. Sir, you have no self-control. We're pretty sure of that. Stay at one of his homes in NYC or Miami under the surveillance of private security agency. But are you paying them? Because then they're beholden to you. So that doesn't seem very safe. And pre-clear any contact with family members through the government, painting the government as hypocrites and offering one form of justice to one defendant and another to Combs. Defense lawyers have pointed to the $10 million bail package approved in October for another accused SA trafficker, former Abercrombie & Fitch CEO Michael Jeffries, another real winner, accused of soliciting male models and others to participate in S parties with promises of money and career prospects. The ex-executive is facing a federal criminal trial in Long Island. Okay, so they're going to compare it to this, but I don't know a lot about the Michael Jeffries, just enough to be grossed out, but did Michael Jeffries drug these people similar to Diddy? Were there children involved, which is what they're alleging with Diddy? So these are two separate cases, I think, to compare the two. To all that, with their client's passport already in the hands of the feds, Diddy lawyers have long said he is not a flight risk. Yeah, right. Can we say Russell Simmons? At one point this afternoon, it looked like the judge was seriously considering granting Combs' release, Deadline is reporting. It looked like the judge, oh my goodness, as the bench and lawyers discussed possible locations for Diddy to be housed with an Upper East Side apartment was picked as best. This is garbage. 2024 needs to go away already. Mr. Combs fully intends to face these charges, they wrote. The prospect of a conviction does not materially change his incentives here, where his reputation has already been destroyed by the government's allegations and aggressive and deceptive media tactics, and can only be rebuilt by winning a trial. Well, I think what we've learned in America in 2024 is even if you are found guilty of crimes, you can still be the president. So I don't know if really a conviction or any of that ruined your reputation or your ability to work or, serve in the highest office in the nation. I don't think that stops you anymore. So the defense team had the November 19th hearing scheduled on an emergency basis after arguing that the seized notes contained privileged details of his planned trial defense. So they're like, oh, you got the game book. You stole that from us, so you know what we're going to do. In fact, defense attorneys Agna Filo and Tenny Garagos pointed out that the court, that some of the material was clearly labeled legal in Combs' own handwriting when they were photographed without his knowledge. In an order posted Wednesday, the judge wrote that Combs' lawyers need to address an apparent discrepancy. The judge wants to know why the word legal appears on the folder that Agna Filo handed to the judge on Tuesday when it doesn't appear, shocker, in the photographs of the same folder from the raid. So this legal allegedly was not in the photos, but Agnifilo just happens to have the folder that says legal on it. But they'll argue the prosecutors maybe didn't take a picture of that, I imagine. Okay. So that was then. Today, Agnifilo admitted to the judge that he wasn't sure what material had legal written on it. Well, there goes your whole case then if you don't know for sure. And what didn't? To the judge's clear displeasure. So the judge is like, what do you mean you don't know for sure? Like, why are we here? That's what I would think. Why are we even here if you don't know for sure which material had legal or not legal on it? If you don't know for sure and have evidence that it is the material that they took pictures of and confiscated during the sweep, then Friday's admission certainly was a kick to Agnifilo's proclamation in court on Tuesday that the October jail raid was a pretext whose true target was Combs. So they're saying, no, this wasn't just a sweep through the jail. This was to target Combs. But again, these are just claims. That's just speculative. What proof does he have? He can't even prove which documents had legal on them. The government is violating Sean's or Diddy's right to a fair trial, Agnifilo said, by using the material, which includes, among other things, the name of a potential defense witness, to oppose Combs' offer of a big ticket bail package, and to continue building a case against the record label CEO. The photograph notes also went to a federal grand jury that continues to investigate Diddy, and which subpoenaed the Bureau of Prisons after the jail sweep. Oh my goodness. Let's see. So then AUSA Slavic, AUSA, I don't know who that is, told the court earlier this week, arguing that nothing in 19 pages was privileged. Also, the chain of custody, the prosecutor said, was a filter team of government lawyers that operates separately from the prosecution team to weed out privileged information that prosecutors cannot have. Okay, so Slavic then argued, okay, so that's part of the prosecution. Slavic argued that nothing in the 19 pages was privileged. Under a handwritten heading of things to do, she said, were phone numbers. So these are on Diddy's notes. Things to do were phone numbers, notes about personal finances, family birthdays, because I'm sure he never had to remember them, and inspirational quotes. What is it? Live, laugh, love. I mean, live, laugh, don't sexually assault. What did his say? You know, drug them like nobody's watching. What are his inspirational quotes? What are Diddy's? I would love to see that. Ridiculous. There's also evidence of continued obstruction by Diddy, including details about efforts to bribe or find dirt on government witnesses. Slavic said, the defense's latest bail memo filed on Thursday offers a glimpse into life behind bars. So they're showing us a glimpse of what it's like for him behind bars. And regardless of what the government says, Combs, the defense insisted, wasn't using other inmates' phone time to avoid having his calls monitored. Those are allegations against him, that he's using other inmates, their phone time, so that his calls aren't monitored. But they're saying he didn't. The defense is like, oh, he would never do that. Now, Baby Oil Man would never do that. If anything, that Mr. Combs needs to resort to sharing minutes demonstrates that the conditions at MDC do not permit an adequate defense preparation, they wrote. Oh, now we care about what's going on in prison and how people are treated. Interesting. The memo has also called the government's rationale for opposing bail fictional. Defense lawyers argued that even before Combs' arrest, federal prosecutors had footage corroborating his version of a violent incident with then-girlfriend Cassie Ventura, but instead went to the original judge in the case, Andrew Carter, with an altered video. That video, no matter how you see it, is horrendous. What could they have altered Did they make AI Diddy to do that? And he's like, that wasn't me. This is crazy. That omitted key scenes. What scene would we need to see? Even if, let's say, we saw her assault him or something, that still would not make what he did correct, right? It just, no, I'm sorry. This is ridiculous. And that they presented things out of order. He's like, no, I kicked her second. Like, this is ridiculous. The grueling clip, which first aired on CNN, we've all seen it, it's horrible, shows an enraged Combs chasing, kicking, and throwing Ventura to the ground in a hallway in a Los Angeles hotel in 2016. Prosecutors cite the hard-to-watch video, which Combs purchased the day after the assault for tens of thousands of dollars. So if this is, you got to see the whole side, it's not that bad. Why did you purchase the video? Why didn't you just let it exist and live? Oh my goodness. As proof that Ventura was victim one of S trafficking ring described in the indictment, although the charges don't name her and don't reference any other victims by number, it's not yet clear whether a grand jury that is still investigating Diddy will hand down a revised indictment identifying multiple victims. Combs' lawyers, meanwhile, have argued repeatedly that Ventura, who sued Combs in a civil case that the former Making the Band producer and star settled very quickly, we remember, within 24, 48 hours, he settled that thing, was no victim, but was a willing participant. So their argument is that Cassie was a willing participant in a drug-fueled S parties that Combs staged in his home and hotel rooms for years. The government alleges that Combs and his aides coerced Ventura and other women into having group relations with male S workers, and that women were, given substances, fed IV fluids to keep them from passing out from dehydration and exhaustion, and physically barred from leaving the locations where these marathon S encounters were staged. Some freak-offs, as they call them, were filmed in all likelihood to compromise or silence participants, prosecutors say. Remember, they're saying that there are so many videos in which the people in the videos have no idea they're being filmed. Hidden camera videos. So filmed without their consent, also given substances and, drugged during these, allegedly. Combs' lawyers previewed today's hearing by offering to put a forensic video analyst on the stand to walk the judge through the unedited footage of the hotel incident. Oh my God. And show that Combs and Ventura were not having a violent DV quarrel in the hallway. What would that be then? We all saw the video. Combs, seen on camera wearing only a towel around his waist, was simply trying to retrieve his clothes and his cell phone after Ventura had run off with them. Who believes that? Put it in the chat. Who believes that? What do they think? We're idiots? That's ridiculous. That's how you retrieve your phone and your clothes? By assaulting someone? Oh, interesting. So right now, there was no decision made, and it was halted, and they have until the 25th. The judge seeks more clarification on these jailhouse communications that were taken during a sweep that were Diddy's. And this was a 2-hour hearing, like I said, very contentious. And yeah, they have until November 25th to submit the information. The judge wants to know exactly from both sides what forms of communication Combs is actually allowed by the Bureau of Prisons. And he wants more clarification on how Combs has been communicating from behind bars in the 2 months since his arrest. So we'll see. We'll see, you guys. Let's see what you guys are saying. Dawn says, how on earth do people become so depraved? Yes, and then still have a defense for it. You have it on, like, in 4K that you are clearly assaulting this woman. And you're like, no. See, what happened was she was trying to take my cell phone and my clothes. So I was just getting them back. That's not how you get your stuff back. Okay, sir? Lexi says this argument does not pass the laugh test. No, it doesn't. And this is why he should never get out. just him having so much power for so long and him being able to get away with this for so long has emboldened him to be so, I mean, disgustingly open about like, no, it's not, no, that clearly this assault you think you saw, no, this was just a man getting his cell phone and clothes back from a thief of a woman. What? No. This is going to go on for you. Yeah, they're going to try. Thank you. Jolene's #1 fan. This is going to be something that they're going to just push back. The fact that they're trying to get the current prosecution team taken off the case. They're going to have to be so careful, prosecution, and the Federal Bureau of Prisons and the feds to not make any mistake that can then cause there to be some kind of crack in this case where Diddy gets off, or that's because they're looking for that, and he's paying them a lot of money for them to get these charges and get this case to be gone. Shine says TMZ said his lawyer's accused of SA too. That doesn't surprise me. Dude looks creepy, right? Kylie says, I wish my ego was that big. Damn. People around him, Cool Dream said, allowed him to become a habitual liar. And the arrogance is unreal. April says, Joseph said this man had private investigators harass 2 influencers. Diddy's team will drag this for decades to the point he will get, or he'll get time, or he'll cry for time served. Yep, he took gaslighting 101, Kerber said, and then paid the hotel they were staying to silence them for the tape. Why would you silence the tape if you're claiming the unedited version, not bad? It's just a man getting back his cell phone and clothes. Okay, yeah, credit. Okay, I see what you mean. There. Kara says, I've said this before. I never liked him since he was jumping around on Biggie's and Mace's records. Sit down, sir. Yes, sit down, sir. You have no talent. Okay? You just acquired talent and then made money off it. But the real people with talent, you just took advantage of, allegedly. So that's currently what's going on in this Diddy trial, which is supposed to happen in May. And we'll see. I really hope the judge does not let him out on bail, because he is a whole ass monster, and these civil suits that keep coming out just continue to prove that. Allegedly. Thank you, David, for the first super chat of the live. David said the Vikings play the Bears this weekend in Chicago. Very excited for that. Are you looking for Thanksgiving? Next week, Thursday? Are you going to do a Thanksgiving stream? I will see if I'll do a Thanksgiving stream. Let me know if you guys will be around. I can do maybe a morning stream, but then I got to go eat. Then I got to go just shove my face with food. But I am excited for the Vikings game on Sunday against the Bears, after the Bears just came off a crazy game with the Packers. So should be good. You never know. I mean, I'm watching foosball, you guys, and you guys know I don't normally watch the foosball, but I'm getting into it and I'm liking it. Okay. So, but these Vikings, they get us believing. And then I've been a Minnesotan long enough to know, then they'll just drop the ball, literally. Okay. Yes. Da Bears. Okay. Next story, you guys. Let's get into it. Did you hear about what's going on with the Menendez bros? So apparently, obviously we know that there is a lot of work being done for a resentencing that would see the Menendez brothers freed, is what they're hoping for, citing that their second trial where they were convicted wasn't a fair trial, in that they didn't, they put some weird, rules on the second trial where they weren't able to have the same witnesses as the first trial, because their first trial, they got a hung jury. And so then they had to go to trial again. In that second trial, they weren't able to have any of the witnesses that testified, including many family members, that there was abuse by the dad and the mom's knowledge of it. And now there has been a letter that Eric allegedly wrote to his cousin, that has come out, where Eric, 8 months, I believe, before the of his parents, of the killing of his parents, where he was talking to his cousin in this letter about the abuse that he was still going through within the house. So they recently, opened this back up and said, okay, we're going to look for a resentencing, which would mean that the Menendez brothers could possibly get out, and the time that they served would already be enough. And they've served like 30 or whatever years by now. So there's more to it, and I've done streams about it, but that's the gist of it. They're looking at, getting them out, that they've done enough time, and that second trial it seemed like it was out to make up for what was happening at the time with the through like trials such as OJ and the Rodney King. They were looking to kind of make up for those trials and put these crazy rules on the second trial where the men weren't able, like, they admitted that they did take their parents' life, that they did brutally do that. But their argument was, it wasn't just because we want their money and we're spoiled brats, like the media painted it out to be. It was that there was serious abuse happening in the home. We were afraid for our lives if we came forward with this. The dad was still abusing Eric up until, right before the murder, we'll call it, because YouTube probably already demonetized this video because they don't like you to use real adult human words. But so lots going on there. So while we wait to see what happens with that, now a little more messy, if you will, stuff has come out about Lyle. So Lyle and Eric are both married. Lyle has been married twice. Okay. His first wife, I believe, was I think they were married from like 96 to 2001. And then he married a woman. Let me pull up their picture here for you guys here. Let me just put it up on the stream so you can see who I am talking about. But he's been married to this other woman since 2003. And she's a journalist, possibly a lawyer. Oh, no. Oh, here it is. There we go. So let me pull the picture of them up. So here is his current wife. This is Lyle, the older brother, the older Menendez brother, and his current wife. However, some drama has happened because they're saying that Lyle has been cheating on this woman. The fact that you can cheat in freaking jail is crazy. So this woman has stood by his side. She relocated. She was in Sacramento when he was in the Sacramento prison. And now she's down at maybe like Imperial Beach in San Diego because it's near the prison. She runs the Facebook group for him. There's a Menendez Brothers Facebook group that a lot of people, I guess, are involved with. And so this is Rebecca Sneed. She is Lyle's wife. Like I said, they have been married since 2003. But all of a sudden, it came out that Lyle is having a relationship with this young college student. And here, let me pull up a picture of her. And her name, I believe she's British too. So he can get a British chick while he's in prison, and a 21-year-old. And Lyle is well into his 50s now. And he's like, oh no, I want this lady now. So let me take this down. So they're saying, oh no, he's having an affair with this woman who's 21 years old. And she is a college student in the UK, and she has traveled allegedly to see him. And they've taken multiple pictures at the prison. So you can see here, she's on the skirt with the little long skirt on with her little Mormon skirt. And then here they are with a dog. I think maybe he might be a part of the training dogs in prison. Here they are again, allegedly, this past September in front of a beautiful prison mural. I mean, when I first read this story, you guys, on Reddit, I was like, oh, that's it. Keep him in jail. If I was that woman that was helping him, Rebecca Sneed, his wife, I'd be like, forget it. He's guilty. Keep him in jail forever. Okay. That's just how I roll. I'd be like, we're not doing this anymore. I just was like, Hell no. Hell no. Am I going to be working so hard to get your ass out of jail? Now I don't care. Now you're guilty. Now just stay there. Okay. Yeah, she's 21. And this dude is too old for a 21-year-old. All right. Now, it could make sense because possibly, let's just say, maybe his development somewhat emotionally stopped at the time of this big traumatic experience of killing his parents. Maybe that argument could be made. I don't know. But I just see a lot of, men in the public eye, or men who you want to, not rich anymore, but formerly, he was rich, who like younger women. So I'm like, that's it. I hope Rebecca Sneed drags his ass. They've been married since 2003. They got married 2 years after his first marriage to Anna Erickson, which is a woman, ironically, that looks, here's his first wife, you guys. Tell me she doesn't look a lot like, this is his first wife. And Anna Erickson, that looks a lot like this woman, his new girlfriend. Similarities, very interesting. So I'm just like, burn it all down. Forget it. It's over. I'd be like, Lyle, enjoy prison. However, this story came out yesterday. Today, his wife is speaking out, Rebecca Sneed. And she said, no, don't worry. She wrote on the Facebook page, she announced that they had been separated. She's like, oh no, he's not cheating. We've been separated for a while, but we remain friends and we'll always be family. And she's still vowing to keep fighting for him. I'm like, what? Where do you get that package? So she said, guys, this is not a cheating scandal. Lyle and I have been separated for a while now, but remain best friends and family. She wrote on the page, I continue to run his Facebook pages with input from him, and I am forever committed to the enduring fight of Lyle and Eric's freedom, as has been so evident over the years. Better woman than I, because I'd be like, no, maybe you should consider no, okay, don't go that far. But on August 20th, 1989, we know Lyle and his brother took the lives of Jose and Kitty Menendez, 14 shots as the couple sat watching TV in their den home. At the time, Lyle was 21 in 1989. So when he committed these murders, obviously his new girlfriend wasn't even born, wasn't even a thought. Who knows, how maybe her mom wasn't even born. We don't know. And then when he married Sneed in 2003, I don't even think the lady she was probably a fetus or a newborn then, but okay. So now Lyle is 56 and Eric is 53. They've spent 3 decades behind bars. The alleged affair stems from a report that the Daily Mail put out yesterday, which details a clandestine fling between Lyle and Millie Buxey, which is the University of Manchester student who is pictured here with him. So the Daily Mail was like, yes, look at this affair, And ironically, the romance began this year when Lyle spotted Millie in the same Facebook group managed by his wife. No, I'd be like, forget whatever I said. Whatever I said about him, let Eric out. Seems like a nice guy. Lyle can stay. It was all his fault. He did it all. He told me. But this woman is not doing that. Rebecca Sneed, his wife, who he's allegedly been separated from, as she's saying, says she's still going to fight for him. But he met his new 21-year-old girlfriend, 56-year-old Lyle Menendez, in a Facebook group managed by Rebecca Sneed, his current wife. He allegedly approached her using an alias before revealing his true identity. So he went into her DMs, I assume, or maybe through comments, pretending to be someone else. And then they got to know each other a little bit. And then he told her his true identity, according to the Daily Mail. So Buxey, pictured here, endured a 5,300-mile journey from Greater Manchester to the Richard J. Donovan Correctional Facility to visit Lyle, who is 35 years her senior. What in the Tom Girardi is going on? While it is unclear whether Eric's stepdaughter, Talia, was also addressing. So Eric, his brother, has a stepdaughter because he's married as well. And the stepdaughter, hit up her social media, and she posted on her story on Thursday. She's like, I want to make it clear that Eric and Lyle are two separate individuals. So even the stepdaughter of his brother Eric is trying to separate them, because this is a horrible time for him to be dating a fetus while still married and all this stuff. And who knows if the wife is just trying to protect him, because public opinion, we know, is pretty important. That's the reason that your case is getting kind of relooked at, is people with a new set of eyes and also new evidence coming forward. But so she said they're two separate individuals. The decisions of one brother should, or shouldn't, I should say, overshadow the truth about the other one. So Talia is the daughter of Chuck Sackerman and Tammy Menendez, who is married to Eric. But she calls this woman, Talia, she calls Eric Menendez dad. So Tammy was married to Chuck. That would be Talia's biological dad, and lived with him when she began following the brothers' trial on TV in 1993. Feeling sympathy for Eric, she wrote him a letter in prison, not expecting a reply. To her surprise, she received one. Let me show you guys a picture of Eric and his wife. And as far as we know, they're still together. You know what I mean? Her then husband passed away June of 1996. That's interesting. So just a month before Lyle and Eric were sentenced to life in prison without parole. According to People, Tammy and Chuck had a 9-month-old daughter, Talia, when he passed away. Well, very sad he passed away. But also with this case, you're thinking, how did he pass away? Can we get confirm on she didn't take him out? Allegedly, obviously, but that's a little sus. Okay. So the husband passed away, and Talia was only 9 months. So then Tammy continued visiting Eric for the next 6 months, and in 1998, he proposed. Although she felt it was a little too soon, she was grateful for the proposal, as she couldn't imagine her life without him. The two got married June 12th, 1999. So this is Eric and his current wife, Tammy. And they got married in 1999 at the Folsom State Prison. Yes, there needs to be a new show, Miss T, Love During Lockup. Love During the Lockup. Thank you, Christina, for the super chat. Christina says, kind of told y'all about the bros. I was right. Well, that doesn't mean still. I mean, even from the documentaries, you could tell Lyle was more of an asshole than Eric. So that's still, as much as I say, it still doesn't mean that they got the fair trial. Still doesn't mean that the second trial wasn't or was judicious for them. So Lyle, on the other hand, he married twice. Like I said, his first wife was this was the woman I showed you earlier, who looks a lot like his baby girlfriend, Anna Erickson. Like Tammy, she saw Lyle on TV during his initial trial and decided to write him a letter, because that first trial, we saw everything on TV. I mean, I was a kid, so I didn't watch it at the time because I was very young, but we saw all the witnesses, everything. And in the second trial, they were like, no cameras, no witnesses, and you cannot use the defense or the story of the abuse. So the abuse couldn't even be brought up in the second trial, which I think anyone would agree is like, that just seems wrong. And then they also changed the parameters of what they could be charged with. It was either not guilty or guilty with, you're either going to get the death penalty or you're going to get life without parole, which was different than the what they had in the first trial and what they offered. So it was still weird, but Christina, you did tell us. You already told us that. So yeah, the baby girlfriend. So this is his first wife. Okay. Then he went on to marry his second wife, Rebecca Sneed. So then he got with the first wife. They were married a couple years, and then they divorced. When the first wife discovered that Lyle had been unfaithful with another pen pal. That leads me to believe, I think Lyle is still being unfaithful. I think the wife is covering for him because she doesn't want it to affect the trial and affect probably the trial for Eric too. But this dude you can cheat. This dude, that's trashy. You can cheat in jail when these women stand by you. This is why don't marry prisoners. Please, God, don't marry them. I mean, men can be locked up in a damn cage and still cheat. That's what this tells you. That's a scary thought. You would think I've heard women, I don't know if I've watched on Love After Lockup before. I've watched a couple episodes of that in the past where they were like, oh, he's in jail. At least I know where he's at. At least I know he's not cheating. Oh no, cheating. Yes, they said in this article that she's a lawyer. I think she was a journalist, then a lawyer. So she became a lawyer for him to take care of him. And still he was like, no, I want a 21-year-old college girl. Just trash. If I was her, I'd be like, lock him up. Free Eric, lock him up. Okay. So they divorced after she found out Eric was allegedly being unfaithful with another pen pal. He sure likes to write down his cheating. Okay. In 2003, 2 years later, Lyle married Sneed. The couple exchanged vows in a ceremony at the Mule Creek State Prison near Sacramento after nearly a decade of knowing each other. So who knows? They could have started their relationship on a cheating, because she knew him while he was married to his first wife. And cheaters cheat, they cheat. It's not the first time they cheat, they've cheated before. And you get with the cheaters, sometimes you got with them while cheating. You kind of get it, or you lose them, or you get them is how they say, I guess. I don't know. And she said, our interaction tends to be very free of distractions. We probably have more intimate conversations than most married spouses do, who are distracted by life events. This is what Lyle told People in 2017. He told People magazine. We try and talk on the phone every day, sometimes several times a day. I have a very steady, involved marriage that helps sustain me and brings me a lot of peace. It's a counter to the unpredictable, very stressful environment here. Can we just put out a public statement? Women, it is not our job to save men. Okay? Look at this woman. She devoted her damn life to him, and he's still like, bye. No, I don't believe that. And why were you separated? Well, probably because he can even cheat in prison, allegedly. So Lyle Menendez Facebook page, although Lyle doesn't manage his own Facebook page due to his lack of social media access in prison, Sneed oversees it. The page aims to raise awareness and support individuals who have experienced abuse. Lyle, however, personally wrote to articulate the purpose and message he hopes the page conveys. He says on this Facebook page, hello, if you're new to this page, we welcome you. Please read the following message from Lyle. I thank my family for helping me with this page. I don't have internet access. Then how did he talk to what's her nuts? So this site depends on them. Then how would he have talked to the new 21-year-old? I'm confused by this. I have been told that setting up this page will open me up to ridicule and criticism. That's probably true, but it's something I'm used to. It is very hard to accept that essay can be a punchline. Okay. Now it's taking me to their dang Facebook page. All right. So now I'm in the Facebook page. All right. It's hard to accept that essay can be the punchline of jokes or the subject of ridicule, but it has occurred to me and many others. If I am mocked for this page, the shame of that belongs on the mocker and not on me or anyone who shares their story here. There is quite simply nothing funny about child essay or other abuse. The purpose is to provide a safe place for people to talk about their similar experiences and find comfort in others, or to find 21-year-olds to hook up with, allegedly, okay, who have suffered in silence in the same way. Those of us who have suffered understand the healing power of sharing your experiences of SA. The page's platform is to oppose all forms of child SA, physical, emotional, perpetuated by anyone, including but not limited to parents, a teacher, a coach, a priest, and the government. We also oppose all forms of DV and SA. Some things to keep in mind is that Lyle is not the one posting on this page. He does not have social media in prison. Well, then how did he talk to his 21-year-old girlfriend? How'd they meet on the Facebook page then? Did his wife help him? I'm confused on that one. As you can see from Lyle's message, this page is not really about him. Of course, there are times we post about him, but really the page is about all survivors. Okay. So it tells you his address to the prison, and it gives you updates on the trial. Let me see if I can see. Oh, it's popular now. Searching his name, it says on Facebook. Okay, he has 97,000 followers. That seems like a lot, right? That seems like a lot. But here we are. And he just posted Menendez brothers launch green space project in prison. So they're okay. So they're trying to put out some other news besides this. He's hooking up or whatever you can do in prison, okay? With a 21-year-old. And he has a wife. So yeah, so that is pretty much what's happening. The wife is like, no. Oh, no, you guys got it wrong. We've been separated. So this isn't an affair. This isn't a cheating scandal. And I think it's just, this is what Lyle does, though. This is how he got the brothers a really bad public image within jail. I mean, you're already not going to have the greatest public image when your parents, you know what I mean? But with all the family members that were willing to testify for them in the first trial and the stories of abuse, especially the abuse that Eric had to go through a lot longer than Lyle did, because the dad stopped abusing Eric allegedly, or stopped abusing Lyle allegedly, and then continued with Eric up until almost the time that they took their parents' lives. Lyle was doing this shit. He was communicating with women and giving a story, and he communicated with one woman who then wrote a book, and he was making really, dumb and incriminating comments about testifying in the first trial, because they both gave very emotional testimonies of their abuse and how he had them in like the palm of his hands. And then people were like, oh, he's lying then. And just really, it seems like Lyle is the one who continually set Eric and himself up for failure. He just was the least likable of the two. So witnesses, are they sure they want to exit prison? Sounds like they're getting a lot of action, right? They've had marriages, children, affairs. They're doing good stuff for the community. Maybe you just want to stay there. Maybe you just want to let Eric out. I would be okay if they were like, we're going to keep Lyle in, we're going to let Eric out. Because from all the documentaries I've seen, and even the fictionalized TV shows, the most recent one by Ryan Murphy, it seemed like Lyle was, the D-bag of the two. So Evelyn says the prison records and listens to the calls, though, so prisoners have to be careful what they say. Alex Murdaugh messed up on a prison phone. Yeah, a lot of these people get caught on their prison phone call. Irene says, I'm not a follower of his either. I don't even know they had Facebook pages. So these are emotional relationships, but also, Lexi, they've visited them. But I don't know if he has access to conjugal visits. I think one article I read said he didn't. But who knows? Okay. So yeah, at this point, I would just be like, just keep Lyle. We'll let Eric out. Evelyn says, I visited a few prisons in undergrad and law school. Prisons vary drastically. And Lyle has big choppers. Kara says Lyle has big choppers. He's got some pretty big cojones to be in there and literally, like, this is the time. Just calm your boner, sir, for like 2 seconds so you can maybe, you and your brother can be released. And he's like, nah, I'm gonna start having a relationship with a baby woman. What? It's just a mess. Just a mess, this guy. I was like, oh, it's so Lyle, though. It's like I said, it's what he has basically done since, the first trial, is he has consistently been good for getting them in trouble with the public. And, these just at horrible times, when after their testimonies about the abuse and all the family, like you're talking Jose's, their dad's siblings, cousins, the mom's siblings, some of them were willing to testify on their behalf to say, yes, these boys were abused. Yes. And still, that should have been the time when, people were like, hey, it's clear that this house was horrible for them. And it makes a lot of sense what could drive someone to do that. Because you think, what could drive anyone to that kind of a heinous crime? Well, you then are, you get the details of what Jose and Kitty allegedly did to them. And you're like, oh, okay. Yeah, that might drive someone to do that. So, but then there's Lyle just mucking it up for everybody because he can't allegedly control his own boner. And you're like, okay. All right, Lyle. So now the affair that was reported yesterday, they're saying the wife of Lyle says, no, it wasn't an affair. We've been separated for a while. I'm still working his case. I'm still going to help him. And his brother Eric's stepdaughter is saying, please don't hold Lyle in the same category as Eric, my dad. So Lexi says, where were these family members when the boys were being abused? Well, some of the family members did, not the adults, but some of the kids, the cousins were privy and did allegedly say that they went to the parents, went to Kitty in particular to talk about the abuse from Jose, and that they were just kind of shut down. So, yeah, I don't know. That's a great question too, of like, I don't think they knew the extent maybe of the abuse. I'm not sure though. It just seems like a whole mess. Okay. So in lighter news, you guys, then start off with the real heavier cases. And then let's talk about the Traitors season 3, which I'm so excited about. So Traitors season 3, the photos, the official cast photos have dropped, and they also gave us a little teaser into the upcoming season. So it premieres January 9th. If you're new to the channel and you've never watched Traitors, it's a wonderful show that you can watch on Peacock. You can binge the first 2 seasons if you want to. Every season there's a new cast. So you can binge it. It's now an Emmy Award winning. They have Alan Cumming, a brilliant host for the show, an Oscar winning actor hosting the show, and they have a cast of people from different areas in reality TV. So you have some Bachelor people, some RuPaul's Drag Race people, Survivor people, Big Brother people, Bravo, Housewives, and other Bravo shows people. And we are going to be covering, obviously, this season as we do every season of Traitors. I covered you can see my recaps of the first season that I did with Josh from Couch Potato Queens. And then you can see the recaps I did of last season. And I think I did all of them, just me, and they were so fun. So let's take a look at the teaser for this season of Traitors. I'm going to share my screen, and hopefully NBC Universal understands that this is commentary, because that Traitors is notorious for striking me when I cover their show. And I'm like, hello, I'm showing how wonderful your show is. Please don't give me a copyright strike. So we're just going to watch the little teaser here. Let me put this like this. Okay. So give me a thumbs up in the chat as soon as you can hear a little audio. I'm so excited. I was like, oh, good. I have something to look forward to right in the new year. Traitors season 3. Okay. So here we go.
Of my thumb, something wicked this way comes. Welcome back, my faithfuls. The Traitors is back for a murderous new season. A new cast of celebrities will be unmasked.
It's game on.
Who will win up to $250,000?
In this game, you definitely have to be a cold-blooded killer.
There's nothing worse than someone that you can't trust.
Suspect everyone, trust no one.
I am able to tell if somebody's lying to me or not.
You ain't seen nothing yet.
I love blood.
I think there's gonna be some drama.
What did I sign up for?
I don't know that I want to backstab them. Baby, my mama didn't raise no fool.
I was born to play this game.
Austin Rob. This is chaos.
Robin's gonna be so lost.
I will bury you under the sand.
But will these gaming heavyweights play fair? I sincerely hope not.
January 9th, you guys, we're going to get this new season of Traitors, and I cannot wait. Just that little teaser made me so excited that the show is, I mean, we are very short. I was like, what's the date? We're, over a month plus away, but not too far away from a brand new. I wish they do 2 seasons of Traitors a year. The show is that good, you guys. I promise you, you will like it. Okay, I guarantee it. And then there is this at reality TV _fan put together. So they had all of their, I think like maybe Entertainment Weekly or something had all of their individual. The cast got their individual cast photos. Came out today, and so they put them together here, as you can see, all of the, let's see, not Red Wolf, not a Robin fan. Well, Robin is going to be awful at this game. I mean, she was delusional on the Housewives. She's going to be like, I am so glad Juan Dixon isn't here right now. So we have a lot of representation from Big Brother. Obviously, a lot of us here are Big Brother fans. So we have Danielle Reyes, who is an icon and a legend in Big Brother, as is Brittany Haynes. Right next to her, we're starting in the upper left corner. Then we have Carolyn from Survivor. As much of a Survivor fan as I am, I haven't seen Carolyn's season, so I don't know much about her. You guys, if you can educate me in the chat, what season was Carolyn on? Because I might binge that season before the show starts. We have Chanel Ayan, who is Real Housewives of Dubai. She is a big personality. I do like her. I'm not like a super fan of the Real Housewives of Dubai, but I did watch the first season. We have Gabby, and Gabby is from, I can't even read where the hell Gabby's from, but there she is. Dolores from the Real Housewives of New Jersey. Dolores is going to be, she's going to be guessing everybody. I feel like she'll be like, it's her. So we'll see. Robin Dixon from the Real Housewives, formerly from the Real Housewives of Potomac. She was not asked back this year. And Robin is part of the Green Eyed Bandits with Giselle. And I just can't imagine Robin's going to be good at this game. It's going to be kind of like how Sheree Whitfield was last season of Traitors. Sheree Whitfield from the Real Housewives of Atlanta. Oh, The Bachelorette. Thank you. 122 Dawn says Gabby's from The Bachelorette. Okay, so we got some Bachelorette representation. Dorinda. And we know, what are you doing here without Dorinda, formerly of the Real Housewives of New York? And they got cocktails. The Traitors serves cocktails. They got a bar. So Dorinda, she's going to be messy, because if one thing Dorinda will do, she will get sloppy drunk. And she'll start slurring her words like this. She's the Sorenza. Okay, then we have Chriselle from Selling Sunset. I never watched that show, but apparently she was good on it. We have Sierra from Summer House. Originally, I think it was supposed to be, why am I forgetting her name? The woman who was engaged to Carl, who just had a baby. It was supposed to be her, but she got outed that she was pregnant. I think somebody said, was it Dorinda that outed her? She was like, clip her because she is pregnant. So it was supposed to be Lindsay Hubbard. Why did I forget Lindsay Hubbard's name? Lindsay Hubbard from Summer House. And so they replaced her with Sierra. Then we have Nikki from the WWE. I think she might be part of those twins, right? Wasn't she just in like a DV situation with her husband or something? Okay. Then we have Bob, the drag queen from RuPaul's Drag Race. And I am not familiar with Bob, but a lot of people in the chat I'm sure are. And I think I've heard maybe even Jamie B say Bob is pretty amazing. So it just sucks for Drag Race people. They always only get like one representative. And then you get so much Bravo representation, so much Big Brother, so much Survivor. So I feel like everyone else who doesn't come in with, representation from their show, they're kind of out of the loop for those early alliances, Then we have Jeremy from Survivor. I remember Jeremy's, I don't remember what season, but I think he was back for Winners at War too, right? And then Tony from Survivor. And Tony was known for like climbing up in trees and spying on people. So we have Survivor winners in this cast. And Boston Rob, big Survivor players are playing in this upcoming season of Traitors. And as you heard, Boston Rob's like, I was born to play this game. Thank you, Otter. So Survivor 44 was Caroline. So it's not Carolyn, it's Caroline. Is that how you pronounce it? Because it's spelled like Carolyn. Okay, Irene says, Joleen, you'll love Bob the Drag Queen. He's witty and smart. I mean, I kind of already love him. Just, looking at his picture, I'm like, yes, I love this. But a lot of people couldn't stand Tony. But Tony is entertaining. And Boston Rob and Jeremy. And I don't know where they all stand with each other, but that'll be interesting. Then you have just randomly Dylan. And that, look at his, everyone else has a show and his is Zac Efron's brother. How embarrassing. Why is he here? I don't know. Just Zac Efron's brother. Like they've just decided like, we're not even going to make up anything. Nepotism is real and it's strong. Here's Zac Efron's brother. Has he done anything else besides being Zac Efron's brother? Which technically he didn't do anything. That he just happened to be born Zac Efron's brother. That was a privilege for him. Then we have Ivor, who is British royalty. And then we have Wells from Bachelor Nation, so another Bachelor Nation person with Gabby. Then we have Bob, and we know him from The Biggest Loser. And then Sam, Britney Spears' ex-husband. What's he here? What? I'm sure hopefully he's not going to be given some kind of Britney tea and pulling a Kevin Federline. But it's like, Sam, go home. Sam, go home. Right next to Tom Sandoval, which I really would love it if Tom Sandoval was the first to get murdered on the Traitors. Wouldn't that be amazing? If he just was taken out. All the women got together and were like, we're getting him out. Do it for the season of Vanderpump Rules we should have gotten, ladies. Take him down. Take him down, down, down. I'm going down, down. But this is, yes, Otter, this season is going to be so good. This cast is really good. Minus Dylan, Zac Efron's brother, don't care. Sam, Brittany's ex-husband, don't care. And Tom Sandoval. But we'll be able to roast Tom Sandoval because he's going to be bad. He's going to be bad. So, yes. NYC Girl says, I like Sam. I think he truly loved Brittany and was good for her. It just is. It looks strange that but I probably want to be actor. I don't know. I don't know much about the guy. Kylie says, I hope they keep him around and just drag him for a while just for shits and giggles. Yeah. If they're going to drag him, okay. I guess I could get used to that. I guess. With Tom Sandy, but this cast is stacked. So I was very excited to see that we had, a little teaser. We got their individual photos. I'll just pull some of them up one by one so we can take a look at how good, because what I really like about the show too is they coordinate their outfits with the theme of the show. So they're in Scotland and they're in this big castle. And so they always, have this, dress code. Their wardrobe is always reflective of that. And that just adds to the show. It's like that little thing you don't necessarily think about, but you're like, oh shit, the fashion in this show is also really good. Alan, the host, his fashion is always amazing. And then to see the whole cast come with their, Scottish winter castle attire is very fun. It's such a well-hosted, well-produced, put together show that I really like it. So first picture, Brittany, and then we have Alan. We even got Sierra coming in with the gloves and the hat, looking very Scottish private school girl. Chanel Ion, supermodel extraordinaire, giving us looks there. Dorinda coming in with her leather fingerless gloves, ready to get sloppy and go clamp. Not well, bitch. Dorinda looks good. She's looking good in this picture. And then who's this person? Oh, and then Dylan Efron. He could have done better. This isn't Scottish castle attire. I don't know what he's doing here. He looks like he's on an extra on Sopranos or a movie with Vince Vaughn and that other dude when they go to Vegas, whatever that movie was. Swingers. That's what he looks like he's on. He looks like he's lost. Okay, then we got the wonderful Danielle Reyes of Big Brother with her sweater dress, a little off the shoulder action going on there. Who's this guy? Oh, Wells Adams. This is very with the vest and the jacket and the tie and all that. I don't know anything about this man because I'm not well versed in the Bachelor Nation, but you guys will have to fill me in. And then we got Tom Sandoval. Of course, he's going to wear a kilt. If he can wear a skirt, he's going to do it. He loves to appropriate people's fashion, whether it be the Scottish or the ladies. You know, look at him all slutty showing his tits in this. Tom Sandoval. Gyros Tom. And they did a favor to him in this picture because if you've seen Tom recently, it's giving lion woman too much plastic surgery, too much filler, too much Botox. It's giving that in his pictures. So they were very generous to him to edit him back to human. Rob could have done better. However, it's very branded for Boston Rob. He's like, I'm still going to be wearing jeans and a backwards hat. I'll wear a jacket, but it's got to have a black t-shirt underneath. I feel like he could have done better. As I just got done talking about how great the fashion is. Some of these dudes are just wrecking it. Okay. While the women, even look at Dolores with this taxi driver hat though. I don't know why she did that. Dolores. We'll see their outfits from episode to episode. Hopefully they're better than some of these promotional picture outfits. Okay. But give it to us, Bob the drag queen, with the gloves and the hat and the shadow to match with the dress and everything. Could be a skirt top situation, or maybe some culottes or something. I don't know. But and then we got Bob Harper, formerly of The Biggest Loser, trainer. Get it, Bob? You look good. You look good. So very excited about this cast and the little sneak peek. Okay. Pamela says, sir, drop the hat. It looks cheesy. Lisa says, I hope Tom revises his fashion choices. He looked ridiculous. He looks ridiculous every season. Dolores with the Dolores's hat. I like that she's doing the little whatever they did that last season when they had their challenge in a graveyard, so they had the little cover, the little face cover. I don't know what it's called. And I like that, but that hat is, it's an interesting choice, right, Lucy? Because where has Bob Harper been? But I guess maybe he's coming out with something he's doing. I don't know. Maybe he's on a different show that I don't watch. Yeah, Dolores in the taxi hat. So you're so welcome. I'm so excited. Red Wolf said, that's awesome, Joleen. Thanks for the update. You're so welcome. I was really excited. So I was like, I have to get this out to my peeps. And we got to talk about it. Okay. Speaking of what the hell are they wearing? What the hell are they doing? What the hell is going on? We can't not go into our next topic, which is the Real Housewives of Salt Lake City and whatever was on Meredith's head. All right. This last episode of the Real Housewives of Salt Lake City was amazing. And I was talking about it a little bit during my live watch party for the Real Housewives of Orange County. Final part of the reunion, part 3 last night. If you missed that, go back and check it out. We watched it together. I mean, I watched it and then you guys watched it and we kind of reacted in real time together. And I've been loving doing that with you guys. And we're going to keep doing that for the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills each week for each episode. Might have to start doing it for Salt Lake City because this show is so good, and we'll talk a little bit about Orange County as well because some new developments have come out. But this last episode, if you haven't watched it or you haven't watched The Real Housewives of Salt Lake City, if you're new to the Housewives franchises, people always ask me, where should I start? I want to start following these recaps and these shows, but I don't know where to start. Honestly, start with Salt Lake. There's not as many seasons as, a lot of the other Housewives franchises. It's one of the newest, next to them bringing Miami back and then also Dubai. But so I feel like you could even start last season watching it. Maybe you could start the previous season with Jen Shah right before she went to prison, which is one of the cast members from Salt Lake City. So there's only 5 seasons. So this is the 5th season. And so easy to watch, very entertaining as far as the franchises go. This season has been so great so far. And this last episode especially was like Housewives perfection. So you have within this week's episode, you have so much going on. You have Angie K having another moment with her dad, talking about the loss of her mom at a young age, giving us more insight into that and how it affected her and her brothers and sisters when her mom passed away very, very young. While Angie was like 8 years old, and it seems like she passed away due to alcoholism and addiction. And so Angie starting to come to terms with that. So you have like this intense but meaningful moment where you're learning more about, you know, the housewife. It's very much them opening up their lives. But then you also have, you know, you're seeing Angie and how that experience and how she mothers and how mothering her daughter, she now sees what she missed out in not having a mom. But she has a really close bond with her dad, and her dad are having dinner. And I really, maybe it's just being, you know, a person who is in recovery to, you know, alcoholism in my family, but it was very moving to see her dad legitimize her feelings and her also, you know, still be able to express, you know, this anger she holds to her mom and how she does miss having that mother figure, while also, you know, the dad not getting defensive or saying she shouldn't believe that, or, you know, him, you know, basically saying, you know, you have every right to feel that way and I'm sorry. And then her also saying, but I had you and this was great. So I really liked that, those scenes, and learning more about Angie K and her cute little dad. Pamela B, thank you for being a member for 6 months. Pamela says, Lydia from Beetlejuice called she wants her bangs back. Don't even insult Lydia from Beetlejuice, because her bangs were far better than this. Far, far better. Okay. And so we go from that to then, you know, we've had Mary Cosby dealing with this issue, another serious issue of her own son, Robert Jr., his alleged addiction, and with some pretty serious stuff, you know, possibly fentanyl being one of the things, and her trying to navigate this. It's like the realest we've ever seen Mary Cosby in the past, as she kind of we're not seeing her church really represented. And we know that there are lawsuits going on that her and her estranged husband, Robert Sr., have against certain members that worked within the church. So that's a whole mess in itself. And I do think there's going to be a documentary down the road that'll come out about Mary Cosby and the church. And I don't think it'll probably make Mary Cosby look that great, but it is refreshing to see a Mary Cosby that seems to be, despite going through this, you know, she seems to be open to sharing, you know, this struggle. And also it's like a lighter, which is strange because she's going through something, but I also think it's because her friendship with Angie K. And so we see Mary participating in more than she has, and almost a somewhat humbled version of Mary Cosby, which has been nice. And then we get, you know, to see Heather talking with Lisa Barlow regarding the trip that Heather wasn't invited on. Bronwyn's 10-year anniversary trip. They took a trip to Palm Springs. Bronwyn paid for everything. Her and her Krabby Patty husband, Todd, who's like too old and too crotchety, in my opinion, to be married to her. She's like fun and 39, but I digress. And obviously Heather wasn't invited because Heather seems to have a vendetta against Bronwyn, the newest housewife joining the cast this year. And I think Heather has become the new Jen Shah. At this point, she just looks like a bully. You know, she's coming at Bronwyn, and Bronwyn is really trying to be friends with this woman. They tried to have like a kumbaya moment at Bronwyn's house, the episode before the trip, or maybe the episode of the trip. And Heather's just like a freaking pit bull coming at her. And it just seems so undeserving when we've seen Heather simp for so many seasons for Jen Shah, even simp for Meredith, even simp for Lisa Barlow. And now she's like, I'm protective of my group of friends. Girl, what are you talking about? So now you're just projecting and attacking people who don't deserve it because you're a bad judge of character. With Jen Shah, you stood by her side. She punched you in the face. You stood by her innocence, even though all signs pointed to guilty, defrauding elderly. And you're like, she's my friend. It just, Heather seems to be, she wants to kick people or fight people who she deems are easier. You know, not the real people that she's mad at. So she's went after Whitney, I believe, for this reason in the past, her cousin. And now she's going after Bronwyn. However, I don't think she realized that Bronwyn was going to be liked by the fans and that Bronwyn was going to fight back the way she has. You know, Evelyn says, I can't believe I used to I know Heather years ago. For real. For real. Even Mary clocked in, you know, as Irene is saying, I'm glad she clocked in to tell Heather, like, hello, Bronwyn is trying to be your friend. I know you're not seeing that, but she's actually trying to be your friend. Okay. So we get Lisa Barlow and Heather talking about this, and they're at Kimosabi, which is the Kyle Richards hat store. I'm like, what are they doing at Kimosabi? Were they in Aspen, Colorado? I was a little confused, but they have this moment of Lisa sharing that Todd, the Todd father, Bronwyn's husband, was going to kick her out of the trip if she didn't start getting along with Bronwyn. And yes, it was a little weird because it's like, sir, your wife's on the Housewives. But he paid for this trip and he's like, I don't want any funny business, you know? And he's like, okay, Sonny, don't know funny business. So he was going to kick, and he told John Barlow, like, you better tell your wife to shape up or we're going to ship out. And I'm like, oh, shut up, Todd, you're ruining it. So then Lisa tells that to Heather, and Heather's like, oh my God, that's ridiculous. And as Heather's trying to be like a badass, well, I'll teach Bronwyn. She makes some comment and she cheers Lisa, and then she spills on herself. And it's so Heather gay. Like, you're trying to act tough, like you're a studio gangster. You're not tough. Okay, we saw you pander. We saw you like literally take a black eye to Jen Shah and simp for her for so long. You know, we saw Meredith destroy you in arguments. Lisa did, like, come on. And you just wanted to be like in the popular girl circle. And so then she's like, yeah, sure. And then she spills on herself. And I'm like, oh my God. Right. Red Wolf, I agree. I don't like Todd. I don't like Bronwyn's husband. I think he's boring. I think he's crotchety. I think he dulls her shine. And he is, you know, a lot older than her. I think like 26 years or more older than her. So not quite Erica Jane and Tom Girardi, but I'm getting those same vibes when he talks with Bronwyn. When they have discussions, it's like, you know, the age difference is so big that he's talking to her like he's some kind of grandfather figure or father figure. He's talking down to her, reprimanding her, and it's not fun to see, you know. So he then has a conversation with Bronwyn on their patio, and she comes out like, hi, Todd father. And he's just like, literally like this. And I saw that Ryan Bailey posted a meme where he's like, I know who Todd reminds me of. And it was the Bernie Sanders meme where Bernie's sitting outside. I think was at the inauguration with his mask and his mittens and his, you know, jacket like this. And I'm like, I can see it, but I don't want to insult Bernie Sanders like that. He deserves a better comparison, but it was still funny, than Krabby Patty Todd father. So they sit outside, and Todd basically tells his wife, who was fighting off Lisa Barlow and whoever the whole time during her 10-year anniversary trip, that I've never seen you behave like that. It's unbecoming. And I'm like, oh shit. This is just wrapped in so much misogynist, patriarchal bullshit of a man being like, oh, it's not becoming for a lady to have emotions or feelings. Men can yell, we can fight, but ladies should never. And I'm like, shut up, Todd. Go back to 1939 where you belong. Because Bronwyn can stick up for herself. She can assert herself, and her raising her voice or getting mad does not somehow define how feminine or how much of a woman she is. Like, shut up, Todd. Shut up. Okay. You may be a part of the greatest generation, but there's nothing great about you, sir. I was just like, ew, ew, ew. I was getting all the icks from him saying this. I was like, ew, gross. I hate it. Let her have her feelings. And she's like, oh my God, I can't have emotions. And then we cut to her, you know, confessional. And she's like, he doesn't want me to have emotions in public or in private. So he just wants her to be like the dutiful wife who's just like, yes, Todd, whatever you say. I don't have any emotions. I'm just here to spend your money and look pretty. And I get that's kind of the transactional relationship you enter into when you have this big age gap and you have one person who comes in really, really rich and one person not as rich and younger and beautiful. It's basically, it's seen on the outside world and a lot of times by the people in it themselves as you're kind of marrying this man for his money and this security, and he's marrying you for your youth and your beauty. However, like we've seen in many of these relationships in the public eye, one, if not both of those things usually fade or fail. The man loses his money and or the woman is no longer young and beautiful in their eyes because everyone's going to age. Doesn't mean you're not still beautiful, but a man a lot older who marries a lot younger of a woman, not necessarily everybody, but these men with money, it tends to be that they're just buying youth and beauty in their spouse. And it's like a status symbol or something, which is what we've seen. And then Bronwyn says, you know, she wants Todd's approval. She's like, I need Todd's approval. It means a lot to me. And when she said, then it might mean everything to me, I'm like, oh my God, that's so Erica Jane coded. It's exactly what Erica Girardi would say about Tom Girardi, and just very unhealthy. So he's reprimanding her yet again on camera, not supporting his wife. It's so unbecoming and very, very boring. So then we get to this housewives party, which literally they should show this as like a class in how, I mean, I don't want them to because I don't want people to just try to recreate this, but it should really be shown as like, this is how you do a party. We don't need all the extra people around. You just need your main characters and your friends of like the Britneys. And you sit down and all the grievances are on the table. And Meredith shouldn't have left. So Mary Cosby has like a luncheon for the ladies, and she has this breakfast at Tiffany's lunch. And so they all try to show up looking like Audrey Hepburn. And this is what Meredith came up with. Yeah, I thought she took her hair when she put it in a bun and just pushed it forward for bangs. But apparently these are clip-ons. I don't know where she clipped them to. Her anus? Because why are they pushed back so far? This reminded me of, remember when Karen Huger's wig was falling off? Let me see if I can get a picture. I was like, oh my God. This is just like that. It was, remember when it was like slipping off her head, going back and back because she was like hot. And that's what it was giving. Like it wasn't giving bangs. It was giving that it was just slipping off her damn head. Let me see if I can find a picture. I could probably find a video of it better than anything. Okay, oh, that's on Bravo. They'll definitely strike me for that. So I better not show that one. But okay. The Throwback Queen on YouTube has a clip of this, and we'll take a look at it. But that's what it looked like to me. I know a lot of comparisons have been made, but I was like, oh no, this is definitely Karen Huger's wig sliding off her head from Real Housewives of Potomac. That's what it looked like. Okay, let me share my screen here. I'm not going to share the audio because I don't want to get a copyright on that. All right, so let me share this, you guys. Okay, so let's make it the big screen. And it's just a mess. So that's Potomac. Let me just speed it up. So you can see Karen there. She's got the side part and the wig is starting to fall. Let's fast forward a little bit to where maybe they get to top, trying to pull up Karen's wig. Okay, as you can see, it just goes farther and farther back where she's got like a 45 head, you know? And some of the women are starting to notice like Karen's wig is just sliding back. And that's what Meredith was giving. And then pretty soon she starts to fix it. Like it is like way back there. Poor Karen. And then they're trying to like, oh, Karen, we gotta get your bangs forward. And she's like, oh my goodness. And they're all helping. But that's what it reminded me. I was like, this is a Karen Huger, the wig is slipping off situation. Where then she's like, I'm gonna put the sunglasses on it, like a headband. I'm gonna put the glasses on my forehead. Anything I can do to get rid of the 45 head I got going on. I mean, I got a 25 head, so I get it. But these are good bangs, Karen. But whatever was happening here, it was just slipping. And so that is what it reminded me of as I was watching. I was like, oh shit, this is very Karen Huger. Okay, you got Meredith and these weird bangs. Now, although Meredith had, let me share my screen again here. Although Meredith had these horrendous bangs, who did have good hair that looked, and who kind of looks like, okay, I'm gonna look up. It was Bronwyn, who looks like Audrey Hepburn. Let's see if I can get some pictures of her. Oops. She had these little clip-on bangs too, and they looked really good. So I was like, Meredith, why couldn't you get that look? Okay, let me pull up her here. I mean, Bronwyn looked stunning. Even her, she made the little Audrey Hepburn bangs work. I was like, yes, Bronwyn, we're Meredith. Those bangs were wearing her, and you got to wear the bangs. Okay, let's push that down here. So let me pull up this picture of Bronwyn. I mean, this was the makeup, everything on point, very Audrey Hepburn compared to whatever Meredith had going on. Like, no. No, Meredith. What are you doing? This is shameful that Bronwyn got it so right and you got it so wrong. When Whitney walked in and said, my nightmare is coming to the party and looking like Meredith. That's what Whitney said. Yeah, Bronwyn did the bangs right, Miss T. She looked stunning. Mary had her, everything was like very pearls, breakfast. Everyone pretty much dressed for Breakfast at Tiffany's, Audrey Hepburn, for the theme of the dinner party, the brunch. However, then Lisa Barlow came in like her Versace or whatever, Fendi, I don't know, pantsuit that Mary had already wore to Watch What Happens Live. So Mary's like, bitch stole my look. And Lisa Barlow said, oh no, I got this right off the runway. Mary probably got hers at Borgdorf, whatever the hell the store's called. So she had like a teal. I mean, I guess it was kind of like Tiffany, Tiffany's, the jewelry. It was kind of like that color. And then Whitney came in and she didn't do bangs, but she did do a headband. And then I thought Angie K looked really gorgeous. Okay, her hair and stuff compared to, let me share this screenshot. Angie K did more of just a side part, but I thought she looked really good and wore a dress. And then Brittany, the friend of housewife, shows up and she didn't get the memo. I don't know what she was wearing, but it was a mess. But here's Angie K on the right and then Meredith on the left. Very different. Brittany, we don't know. Let me see if I can find a shot of Brittany at this party because it was not good. Let's see. Mary Cosby, Audrey Hepburn party. Okay. Oh, there's Lisa Barlow in her, I guess, Tiffany's jewelry colored jumpsuit. And then you have, I thought Angie K looked really pretty. Here, let me visit the Daily Beast site because it seems like they have quite a few. Oh, and we got the Todd father picture looking Krabby Patty as ever. And then all the ladies at the table. Thank you, Daily Beast, for the screenshots. And yeah, Angie looked beautiful. But they don't have Brittany. That's so much of a non-factor, I guess. She was because, well, she showed up late, which Mary was like, okay, you're going to show up late? And people are like, we're surprised, Mary, that you actually invited Brittany, the friend of who's in love with the Osbourne. And she said, well, I just wanted her to know that I am not poor. Because before she had said that, oh, I was poor too. And Mary's like, that's not what I said. I didn't say I was poor. And then everyone kind of laughs because it's such a Mary Cosby thing to say. Let me look up Brittany and see if they have a picture of her. God, I can't even find one on the internet. You guys, this is bad that I can't even find. But I can find Mary Cosby wearing the jumpsuit that Lisa Barlow wore. Mary Cosby wearing it to Watch What Happens Live. So let me show you here. So here's Lisa Barlow and Heather Gay. And Heather Gay had more of like a cream outfit, but she did do a barrette on the side. So she did look pretty, but it wasn't super like Breakfast at Tiffany's or anything. And then Lisa Barlow coming in with this jumpsuit that Mary was seen wearing beforehand, I believe, on Watch What Happens Live. Very, Mary was like, bitch, yeah, that's my look. And then Angie K looking lovely at the party. So when Brittany finally does show up, Meredith's like, for my family, did you get a different invite? And Mary sent you a different invite, Brittany? And Brittany's like, and Mary's like, no, gave her the same one as everyone else. Yeah, that's just what she chose to wear. She just did not, it didn't, oh, here, let's see if I can find a picture here. No, like nobody has a picture of this chick at Mary Cosby's party. I don't think so. Huh. Okay, I guess not. So she didn't look good. Either way, it was for the party to show up late and then not have worn it, like not have dressed for the theme. Not a good look. So this party is, Whitney asks, can we break bread? And Mary's like, yes. Whitney's like, can we break bread, Mary? Is that okay? And Mary goes, oh, yes, we can break bread. And immediately they're serving Meredith's caviar, And so she's like, we're starting with my caviar. It's the dingleberry blend of my caviar. We're like, okay, great. And then immediately Heather Gay starts off the party and says, I'm so glad everyone was invited to this party, Mary, unlike the Palm Desert trip. So shots fired right away at Bronwyn. And Bronwyn's like, really, Heather, do you want to do this? Because you don't want to open this door. And Heather goes, oh, bitch, open the door. I don't care. So Heather immediately is coming for Bronwyn. And Heather ends up saying, I only know 3 things about your husband. He collects Starbucks gift card, or not gift cards, Starbucks mugs every place he goes. He's an asshole to women or to people that he wants to leave his trip. And then I forget what the first thing is. Maybe like, you don't have a prenup, because Heather is very, very much wanting to talk about how Bronwyn doesn't have a prenup with the Todd father, allegedly. And so that's when Bronwyn realizes, oh, Lisa Barlow, real cute, Lisa, you told her about that. And Lisa's like, what? What do you mean, me? Why am I getting it? It's because Heather wouldn't know about the kicking you out unless you told her. there would be nobody. So they're kind of going back and forth. Heather just is like a dog with a bone. She will not drop this hatred she has for Bronwyn that seems just weird. Why would you have this? And then Brittany wants to chime in, and she wants to be like, first of all, well, I wasn't invited either. So she shows up late, and now she's like, Mary Cosby was the only one this week who called me and invited me to something. And Lisa Barlow says to her, well, I'm surprised you were mad about not being invited to the trip. I didn't think you'd want to go. And Brittany's like, I would want to go. And then Brittany has an issue. She's like, you guys didn't even tell me, and I hung out with you. And she looks over at Angie K, and at Angie K and Heather had come over to her house for like Mormon, I think it was like Mormon prayer night or something. Here's a picture of the whole table. Maybe we'll just go with this one. So this is before Brittany got there because she was late. But Brittany says, you guys were at my house. I invited you over for a very special Mormon Sunday night prayer time, and you couldn't even invite me or tell me about the trip or anything. And she says, and you, Angie, you brought wine and you should know better. And Whitney says, well, okay, we get that Mormons aren't supposed to drink alcohol. However, you're drinking champagne right now. And Brittany goes, it's different. It's different. I'm only drinking it on a television show that all my family's going to see. But it's different when you come with a bottle of wine to my house. And Angie can't take it anymore. Angie's just like, oh, really, Chick? Is this what we're doing? She's like, listen, I don't think bringing wine to Mormon night was a big deal since you are hooking up with 3 different dudes and you're drinking right now. And I was like, damn, Angie. And then it cuts to Brittany opening up to Angie K about how she's dating 3 different dudes. So she's like, you're doing 3 dudes and you're drinking alcohol right now. So me, I didn't think it was a big deal. We have it during communion at our church. I've seen you drink a bunch. Not a big deal. So Brittany is just getting checked and it's embarrassing for her. But she was really giving Sheena vibes, being like, what about me? What about how I feel about this thing that has nothing to do with me? So they're going back and forth. It's Lisa versus Bronwyn, Heather versus Bronwyn, Brittany basically versus everybody. Mary Cosby's trying to explain to Heather, like, Bronwyn does want to be friends with you. And then you have Meredith coming in with the stuff about Sean, Angie K's husband, the podcast he did, talking allegedly about Brooks Marks. And Sean's overall point isn't wrong. And Brooks is on the show and he's an adult. So I don't like this. You can't bring up my family or the children. Brooks has been on the show. You guys, you promote his stuff, his clothing line, his jumpsuits or whatever he has, his sweatsuits. You have been for seasons. He's on the show. Your husband literally is wearing a Brooks Marks hat at the dinner at the trip where he called Whitney a biatch. There's a lot of talk of that, like, should he have said that? No. And so Seth's point, or not Seth, what's his name? That's whatever Angie K's husband's name is, okay? Him doing that interview is not, I didn't see anything wrong with it because Meredith was behind a rumor saying that Angie K's husband is gay. So let's say he is. Let's say he's bi. Let's say he's pan. Let's say they have an agreement. Let's say he's got dudes on the side or something. You bringing that up doesn't look like an advocate for the LGBTQIA community. You then would be outing somebody. And then you using it as like a weapon, as something like bad, like, oh, he's gay. Doesn't look good when you yourself tout yourself to be this representative for the gay community. So he's basically saying, yeah, and with a gay son, would you want someone doing that to your son? I mean, Angie K's husband has said the rumors weren't true, but we see this tired rumor over and over. Every Housewives franchise, it's like, your husband's gay. Every time they get in a fight, that's what they go to. Your husband's gay. He's having sex with men. You're like, okay, cool. We've heard it a million times. Yes, they didn't say anything about Brooks. He said, think about you, Meredith, as you who brought your son on a television show as an adult and openly talked about his sexuality and promoted his businesses, and yourself talk about being an advocate and an ally, and you're winning awards for, being a representative, in the LGBTQIA community. For you to then go on the show you're on and out another lady's husband as like a way to attack her and him isn't a good look. It's just basic. So then Meredith's like, let me play it for you. Let me play it for you. So she holds up her phone like, here's what the interview on. And then Whitney, so Meredith hold it up. I'm like, oh my God, Meredith. So Meredith holds up her damn phone like, listen, everyone will listen to his Angie K's husband's interview where they talk about my son. It's like, ma'am, your husband's never home. He's in Ohio or some shit. And he's calling women biatches. So you have bigger problems than this. She's like, listen to him. And just me listening to the little snippet, I was like, oh, I'm more on Angie K's husband's side now than I've ever been. Yeah, she was mad defensive. It's like, girl, stop. Just own the fact that you went after Angie K's marriage and you said, that's how we got the rumors and the nastiness. the rumors, and then you want me to talk about husbands? I'll talk about husbands. You came for her family, but now she can't talk about your family that's on the damn show. I mean, we've seen Meredith obviously get mad last season. You can live. You know, so we know that she gets very activated, but it's like, is she incapable of owning her shit and taking accountability? Like, maybe I shouldn't have, because you're literally the one that came for Angie K's husband. You had some drinks and you said the rumors and nastiness. You want to talk about husbands? Talk about husbands.
The rumors and nastiness about her? Well, let you do that. Do you know what? You want me to go there with her husband?
You want me to go there with the husbands? We'll go there with the husbands. I mean, that all is because, I mean, everything, that whole saying, all the fun we've had with it is because of the rumors and nastiness that you talked about someone else's husband being gay. Well, you're supposed to be an advocate and an ally for the gay community.
Where's Meredith Marks when I need her?
The rumors, the nastiness, the rumors, the nastiness. You want me to go there with her husband? I can go there. You can leave.
You can leave, Meredith. Yes, Graphics, great point. Graphics says it's Kyle Richards syndrome. I can talk about everyone else, but you can't talk about me or my family, for my family, because I say so. That's what it's giving. She's acting horrible this season. So she brings out this phone and Whitney grabs the phone. Whitney's just like, ugh, because first of all, this is like when you go hiking or something and people don't put their AirPods in and they play. It's like you're accosting me. You don't have my consent to play it. Like, we didn't say we want to listen to this shit. And so she's playing it. So Whitney grabs it and Meredith freaks out. Talk about aggressive and violent. Meredith gets up and like, give me my phone back. That's my phone. Give it back to me. No. She needs a bathtub. Like, look at the poor guy working in the back at Mary's party. Oh my gosh. And what a fun edit this episode had of Mary getting the party ready and her poor, the staff that has to put the party together. And she's like, what's this? You know, this guy's face is like, oh my God, I did not want that. And she is, look at Meredith is getting so mad. And Whitney's like, turn it down. You know, as Meredith's like, no, we have to listen to this whole thing. Angie Kelly's husband is horrible and he's wrong. He's wrong. Sure, Whitney shouldn't have touched the phone, but this was like extra. Meredith also shouldn't have held it up at the table in people's faces and played it, you know. So both in the wrong, but Meredith is like freaking out and getting like, she was getting Jerry Springer aggressive to Whitney. She's like, don't touch my phone. No. Lisa Barlow's in the back like, oh my God, I need a Diet Coke. This is getting very serious. This is crazy. Right out of control, Yvonne. So out of control. So then Mary starts yelling. She's like, stop. It's my house. Like, be quiet, be quiet. And Meredith won't stop screaming. Like they're screaming back and forth. And Meredith especially will not stop. And Mary says, if you're not going to stop screaming, then you can leave. And Meredith, again, you are the originator of the you can leave. You have screamed that at people at dinner parties just last season. You can leave. But somehow she's all offended now. I'm like, how dare you, Mary? Then I'll leave. She gets her jacket and she puts it, I'll leave. Her bangs are sliding off her head, you know, given the Karen Huger 45 head thing going on. And I'll leave. And Mary's like, listen to me, Meredith. I didn't say you have to go. I said, if you can't be quiet and respect my house, then you can go. But if you can just calm down, like I'm having this party. And Mary's like, no, I'm leaving. And she gets her jacket and she storms out, as Meredith Marks does, as she's like the victim of something. And I'm like, I don't know what Meredith thinks she's the victim of. Because it's just ridiculous at this point. Her storming out and getting so upset with her clip-on bangs that aren't clipped in the right spot, too far back. And then she leaves Mary's party and she's like, in the after show, I think she was talking about how there's just like a different feeling with her and Mary, and she, you know, she's holding probably a lot of resentment because of Mary's now close friendship with Angie K, and obviously Meredith and Angie K there's no love lost there, like they literally can't stand each other. And so she's just like, I'm sure you and Angie have talked about me ad nauseum about my family. So she believes that now Mary is kind of coming after her, which all Meredith had to do is own that she did something shitty and came after Angie K's marriage with that old, tired, cliche housewives, you know, trope rumor of your husband's gay. And we've heard it on every franchise, and nothing ever comes to fruition with the gay rumors. And even if they did, it's like nobody's interested in that. I don't care if Angie K's husband's doing whatever. It'll come out if it's supposed to come out. I don't know if they have an agreement. I don't really care. You know? So, but before this all happens, we do see within the Bronwyn and Heather, we see Heather after kind of doubling down. So Bronwyn, you know, there's discussion about her trip and them going back and forth and Heather going so hard at Bronwyn. But then there is talk about the coach flights that people had to take back and how Lisa Barlow was just up in arms. And Lisa's like, I wasn't the only one. Angie, you did not like having to fly coach. You said stuff. And then it cuts to Angie K talking to Lisa, her and Sean, her husband, talking. I finally remembered his name again. I forgot it for a second. Talking about having to fly home, and Angie being like, where's your seat? Where's you know, John Barlow sitting? And Lisa's just like, oh my God, 17A, 19A. I haven't flown coach since college. Horrible. So we don't really see what Lisa's talking about of Angie really talking shiz on the coach. Angie said, I didn't say anything. I just knew you weren't going to like flying coach. And Bronwyn's like, I can't believe this. This is ridiculous. You know, I have this nice trip. I gave you gifts. Okay. I got a house for you guys, a beautiful house. I got you a private plane there, and you can't just do coach. Then Heather gets involved, and Heather's like, well, if flying coach is no big deal, then why didn't you and your husband fly coach? Why'd you book yourself in first class? And Bronwyn so quickly comes back and says, because it's my credit card, bitch. And I was like, I mean, yeah. I did talk about this before. I do think if you get a private flight there, a private plane, probably should have a private flight back, or let the people know. Only in Housewives world for some reason. So that was a little weird, but ultimately she's paying for everything. So just take it. Take it, Lisa Barlow. And Heather was like, whatever. And this is what, you know, Heather that is talking about, or Bronwyn says, I actually got a flight for you, a first class ticket. And Heather's like, how would you get a flight for me? How would you even do that? Nobody knows my birthday. How would you get my information? I didn't give it to you. And Bronwyn says, I bought you, I'll show you the proof. I bought you a first class ticket for you to come. And then when things went sideways, when we were supposed to make up, you know, but I did want you originally to come on the trip. And I got your information from someone else. And Heather goes, that's impossible. Nobody knows my real birthday. I don't tell anybody. So nobody in this cast knows her birth year. Even the producers in her confessional ask her. And she says, mind your own effing business. So I'm sure someone can find it, you know, her real birthday. But she said she's been hiding it. And I've seen some people online make the point like how easily Heather is able to lie about even the birthday thing, you know, her birthday and the Jen Shah punch, among other things with Jen Shah. You're like, oh, okay. Maybe Heather's been the villain all along. So they're going back and forth, and it's just, it's good TV at this point. Then Mary drops a bomb when they're about Brittany's guy, who is this Osmond. He's like an Osmond nephew or something to the Osmonds, Donnie and Marie, the Osmond family. But he's like a nobody Osmond, but still has the last name. And it's been her on again, off again boyfriend or best friend. Nobody knows because it's a hot mess. Mary says, oh no, this Osmond dude, he's been in my DMs. So shout out to She's Speaking. I thought it was She Speaks Bravo, but this content creator, and she did a whole TikTok about this. And I just grabbed the screenshot for the messages. So Jared Osmond slid into Mary Cosby's DMs, and they're like, Mary, are you going to tell Brittany? Are you going to tell anyone? She was like, Mary's like, no, I got too much on my plate right now. And she does, with her son and everything going on with their church and wherever Robert Sr. is. We don't know if she buried him somewhere. We don't know where he is. So she's like, no. But Jared Osmond, who's supposed to be with Brittany, is slipping in to Mary Cosby's DMs and is saying, my amazing friend Mary, I hope you're doing so well. And this is March 17th at 12:58 a.m. So he's drunk. He's drunk. Obviously, this is like a drunk dial or, a booty call, whatever it would be considered, a drunken DM here on Instagram. He says, I hope you're doing well. I really enjoyed getting to know you the other night. So is this after the party at Angie K's house when he showed up unexpectedly while Brittany was on a date with that other guy, Aaron, that everyone thought was Jared? I really enjoyed getting to know you the other night. What a quality and amazing human you are. What a pleasure it was to meet you. But before then, he says at 11:29 p.m. and then at 12:58 a.m. is that one I just read. But the one before that on March 17th at 11:29 p.m. says, Mary, it was such a pleasure. I think you're amazing. You have a blessed day as well. You are one of God's greatest daughters or something you can feel it. I was like, sir, get out of Mary Cosby's DMs, you weirdo. You're one of God's greatest daughters. You can feel it. What? So he's sliding into Mary's DMs. He is like the Slade from the Real Housewives of Orange County. He's like John Jansening it. Well, if I can't get on with Brittany because I don't want to claim her, I guess I'm going to claim Mary because allegedly she's worth $5 million. Right? He's dehydrated. The receipts. What in the Mormon Osmond hell is going on? But yeah, we got receipts. But at this point in the season, Brittany doesn't know about him sliding into Mary's DMs.
Receipts, proof, timeline, screenshots, everything.
Kylie says damage control trying to counteract the narrative he knows Brittany is likely telling about him. And he's laying it on thick, Yvonne. Yes, he is. Cammie says flirting by dropping God's name. It is very much Alexi. Yes, Slade Smiley. How he was just going through the OC housewives. So, yeah, shout out to She's Speaking Emily, this content creator here. Did she previously have the name She Speaks Bravo? Or is that what she is on Instagram? I thought it was She Speaks Bravo, but maybe she just changed it to She's Speaking with Emily. Oh, She's Speaking with Emily, I think, if you guys want to, if you're not already following her, go show her all the love to our fellow Bravo content creators here. So I just grabbed this from her TikTok because she had the screenshots here and I was like, hell yeah. So Mary's talking about this. Meredith is fighting with Whitney. She storms out. Mary does tell like Heather, hello, like I said, Bronwyn is trying to be your friend. I know you don't believe it, but she is. And then ultimately there's so much pushback on Heather that she's like, well, maybe I am being defensive because these women, we've been through the trenches. Are you for real? Because of Jen Shah, because of your friend that you were taking up for until she literally got booked in prison. Then you're like, oh, never mind. She punched me and she's a bitch. I don't like her. But before then you were, going to bat for her, like fighting off people for her and hiding her deepest, darkest secrets as she was defrauding the elderly and hiding that she punched you in the face. But okay. And then Monica with her little, blogger account on Instagram, her little Finsta account. Is that what we're saying is the trenches? She's like, these women are my friends. I'm not gonna let anything come between us. Oh, so you're becoming territorial, Heather, and you're afraid that Bronwyn's gonna come in and steal your girls? Like she's acting like a scorned pimp or something. Heather, it's weird. It is very weird. It is not our fault or Bronwyn's fault that you have bad taste in friends. And that you are now habitually on the wrong side of Real Housewives of Salt Lake City history with this stuff. And you're just coming for Bronwyn now. So then she kind of, maybe I'll give her a chance. Maybe. So then after she doubles down for most of, the episode and this party at Mary's, then she starts to, go and now maybe I'll be neutral with you. Okay. I'm just very scared. And then, Brittany can't let it go. And Brittany's like, what about me? It isn't fair. And Bronwyn's like, bitch, I wouldn't invite you to my trip. You want to know why? Because you said my husband's disgusting. And I bust out laughing because I'm like, what? But Brittany says, I didn't say that. Well, you said that I'm a gold digger. I did say that. And you said that I did say that. She was listing all of these things that Brittany allegedly said about her marriage to the Todd father, to the crotchety old man that goes like this. This is not very becoming of you. I don't like when you show your emotions. And it's like, Brittany, why would Bronwyn invite you to a celebratory trip for 10 years of marriage to Todd when you have all this nasty stuff to say? And the fact that Brittany was like, I did say that. I didn't say it was disgusting, but I did say that you're a hooker and you're a gold digger and Todd's too old and you don't like having sex with him and it's gross and all that. I did say. She lists, but she's like, I still should have been invited. Still, what about me? What's going on? So Heather's, saying she's got PTSD, which she can't bring Bronwyn in. Brittany's saying, oh, I should have been invited even though I hate you and I hate your husband, but I wanted to be on the trip. It's not fair. Mary's like, I wouldn't have went on the trip. I don't want to be on the trip. I just want everyone to shut up. So Meredith storms out. All this happens and the episode is just perfection. It's just literally from beginning to end. It's such a good episode of Housewives, and Salt Lake City is incredible this season. And if you're not watching it, watch it. I'm telling you, watch it, because we're about halfway through. We got the mid-season trailer, and it looks like it's only going to get better. So speaking of things that I wish only got better, that leads me into our final thing we're going to talk about, which is last night's Real Housewives of Orange County reunion part 2. Okay, so the third part of the reunion saw us with way too much. If you watched my watch party last night where we watched the episode together, I think most of us in the chat, if not all of us, agreed that it was too much talk with John Jansen. John Jansen got far more airtime than he ever should get. Nobody wants to see that dude. Nobody cares. And Alexis just dug her grave. She will never most likely be on Bravo or the Housewives again. It was just like the nail in her Housewives coffin. It was horrible. She just kept pushing back and getting overly involved in this Shannon Beador and John Jansen lawsuit that is now finally resolved, with Shannon posting this to her stories after the reunion ended. Not the current thing I have up here, but she posted, I believe it was this here, and it was wire transfer services, outgoing wire transfer request, and it's for 11/21/2024, and it's from her Wells Fargo bank account. Shannon Beador paying this John Jansen. Did she put John Jansen's address on here? Oh, I think just the city. Also, she didn't put the exact address, but Corona del Mar, California. And Shannon is paying this man. She paid him $60,000. So the original $75,000, like she said at the reunion, he didn't get, because there was lots of talk about how he didn't take the initial offer and he should have, if this was really about the money and a loan and wanting your money back. And then Alexis says, it's because she wouldn't sign a non-disparagement. Johnny J, you talk about Johnny J. You do. You said he has bad knees and bad teeth. Well, he does have bad knees and bad teeth. Well, now he's got veneers. So who cares? Is that really disparaging someone when it's something I can look at and say it's bad? Like, it's all provable. I mean, kind of subjective too, because some people might go, his teeth aren't that bad, but there were, maybe somewhat objectively bad teeth and bad knees. What are you talking about? I look at that man and I think he's got creaky knees. He looks like the type of guy that have creaky knees. The dude's blood type is vodka. That's what it looks like to me. Him and Shannon's relationship was a drunken mess. We could tell that just from watching. The dude, I know he's had a little bit of tox now, a little bit of Botox and stuff, but he's got a face like he was born in a bar. That's just something my grandma used to say, and it looks like that. It just looks like he came out ready for happy hour, right out the womb, right out the baby door. So he's mad about his bad teeth and that he's got bad knees and that Shannon paid for most of the stuff. Ma'am, he looks like the type. That's what you look like. It's all about image and how that looks in Hollywood. And that's what's going on, So I was so annoyed with this. So Shannon's like, here you go. John Jansen settlement in full, $60,000, bitch. You didn't even get the full 75 because you were being weird. And this was never about the money. This was never about being paid back. This was about dragging Shannon to hell and back with your new weirdo girlfriend, Alexis. Now, I did watch the Peacock version of the reunion today because I watched the live version on Bravo, obviously, last night. And the Peacock just gives you so much more because all the swears. And they give you segments that they don't give you. So every Peacock reunion and even episodes of the Housewives and the different shows, you always get more in the Peacock than you do in the Bravo, which is, it's a crime, really. So they had this whole segment where Alexis was called out for going to bat and caping. I know a lot of you always think I'm using that phrase wrong. You're like, it's capping, Jolene. But no, caping is a term that people said before capping, where if you were going to like put your cape on and be a superhero for someone, like you're caping for this person. And that's what she was doing. She's trying to be John Jansen's hero. And so you have this history of caping for problematic men and going to bat for them. So they show, Jim Bellino, and he's a king, even though he's never changed a shitty diaper and all this stuff. And then the guy from that she was engaged to when she did Below Deck after her and Jim got a divorce, and now John Jansen. She is always in the midst of being the, hero or the voice or the mouthpiece for problematic guys. And they're like, do you think you have a history? And she's like, no, I don't. You do. He's making you look silly, like a silly goose. He's making you look ridiculous. And as much as she wants to say, I was really down, the death of my mother, which is horrible. And I feel so bad for her in that regard. But to put yourself in a situation where now you come on this show to fight another woman that your fiance used to date for a long period of time and allegedly love, and now he's trying to expose her and you jump on board, it's no one's going to like that. Shannon literally got drunk, crashed into a house with her dog, and people are still more mad at you and John. That's how bad this looks, what you and John are doing. Like, we know Shannon has her issues and we know what she did is very wrong, but it seems as though Shannon is taking accountability for that. She's showing a little bit of, she's a little bit of humility when it comes to this. Now, in my opinion, Shannon would benefit from getting sober, but that's just, as a sober lady, and someone who has made my fair share of bad decisions, Shannon, it's not good. Okay. But she's trying to go the route of she's going to have a better relationship with alcohol, and hopefully you can. But I haven't seen a lot of people be able to, once they're down that track, and we've seen this with Shannon for a while, this dark side when she's intoxicated and bad decisions and things, and maybe not using alcohol in the most responsible manner. I don't know if you can, but maybe. Okay. So this is how bad it looks, Alexis, that we're like, yeah, we're going to cheer for the lady who crashes into homes drunk with her dog. I mean, granted it was once, but still, rather than you. So she spends this whole reunion that she's out there. We learn nothing about Alexis because, again, she's defined herself by a man. And it's actually really sad that Alexis, her whole life, all we'll know of her and all she'll probably know of herself is through the eyes or the relationship of the man she's with or the relationship she's in, which is really sad because that defines her. And she seems to just stay to this pattern. And it would have been nice if she was going to come back, if we actually got to, I don't know anything about her. I know now that she says, you know, because her mom passed away. I know she's a mom just because she was on the show before, but really I don't know anything else other than she just continues to have really bad taste in men and is willing to go to bat for them. Just like she did last time with suing Shannon and Tamra and all of Jim Bellino's problematic things that he said and did within their marriage and that they showed us. Now she's doing it again. It just looks really bad. So let's see. Alex G says, Alexis and John are moving so fast, it gives me weird vibes. It's not, yeah, it's too fast. It's crazy. So she's also, we're also, Shannon's being shown John giving confessionals. This is the man who was like, I don't want to be on TV. I don't want any of this spotlight. And then he proceeds to go then date and get engaged to another housewife and not only be on the season, but give interviews and confessionals. So Shannon's like, Andy presents it to her like, well, we interviewed John Jansen. He did a confessional with Alexis. And John couldn't have been grosser. John Jansen going off on the money Shannon borrowed, and we had an agreement, and I said, Shannon, even if you end up hating me, you will pay this money back. And she said, I know, Johnny boy. I know. I'm just like, oh my gosh. Even if Shannon said that, I still don't want her to pay you back because that's how unlikable you are and how gross your behavior is, pitting these two women against each other and then outing all this stuff about your relationship that you don't need to. If John Jansen really hates Shannon and really thinks all the things she did is wrong, you know, according to him, she tried to run over his daughter, then why'd you hang out with her for 10 days after the accident? Why did you continue to talk to her? Why did you continue to allegedly sleep with her? If she's this much of a monster, you know, it doesn't add up. And then he's trying to say, oh, I was single for a year. And then Shannon's got text showing, no, you weren't. And even Tamra said, well, no, he was with her. He was not single for very long. And Shannon's like, he was still sleeping with me, telling me he loves me. Other housewives are backing it up. They have proof of them being together. And Alexis like, no, it's just friends with benefits. You can't be friends with benefits when you've been in a long-term relationship with someone. There is still love there. You're still hooking up. And Alexis just denied that whole reality. That's how delulu this woman is. You look dumb. And then she was calling the other housewives dumb. And Emily Simpson, when she's on your side, it's good. When she's not, it's bad. She was like, you're the dumbest bitch I ever met. Don't you dare call me dumb. You know, lawyer Emily came out like, are you kidding me? You are dumb. I was like, you're dumb. And then Alexis goes, I have a degree too. Girl, but there's different. I have a degree too, but I don't have a law degree. I'm not a practicing lawyer. I understand that Emily's degree, a little different than my Bachelor of Arts in journalism, okay? Going to law school, a little different. So Alexis like, I went to school too. Emily's like, bitch, shut up. You're the dumbest chick. And I'm like, oh my goodness. But it was just too much Alexis, too much John Jansen. And then Shannon's getting emotional because he's just, for someone who wants to stay out of the public eye, he's making sure he remains in the public eye and becomes at the forefront of two women's storylines on Housewives. That seems strange. And then the topic of the video that's allegedly out there comes up, that he has ring camera footage of Shannon trying to run over his daughter. Why didn't you call the police? That would be a big deal if someone tried to run over my daughter. I don't even have a daughter. My fake daughter, I would even call the cops on. They tried to run over my imaginary daughter. One of my fur babies, I'd call the police. What are you talking about? And I'm not saying the footage doesn't exist, but using it to kind of as extortion to get the money from her, to embarrass her. First of all, you should have paid for the facelift because you were the boyfriend. And if you got it, you got it. But he then is like, no, she was borrowing all this money from me. She was taking many loans. So just putting all of her financial business and their relationship out there from someone who says he doesn't even want to be on the show. It's just dirty. It's dirty, dirty, dirty. Yes, Slade Jansen, Alex G. Exactly. So I'm just like watching this going, this is so stupid. Why did this man take over our whole season of Orange County? I know we had other good moments, but Alexis being there, I thought possibly hearing that she was now dating him, this could be interesting, but it wasn't. It was just Alexis coming in and everything was about John, Johnny J. And everything was done seemingly to just get back at Shannon. And for Alexis, like, I feel sorry for her because this is your fiance, your future husband. Like, you look at how someone treats their ex, and that's a good indication of how you most likely will get treated. And he might be love bombing you now, but eventually you're going to be the chick that he's outing and saying all this stuff about. So Alexis put out a statement, okay? And before we get to that, I will say, then the reunion's supposed to end. Andy gives Tamra the biggest like boost of like, Shannon, Tamra seemed to have your back at the reunion. She seemed to be nodding her head. She was I think he said silently supporting you. And I'm like, Andy Cohen, no, we're not going to do that. Okay. Do you know who was vocally supporting her? Gina and Emily, and very well. As Shannon's taking hits from John, Alexis, all these things, you know, you have Emily and Gina actively, outwardly supporting her. Gina doesn't even have to. Shannon was horrible to Gina when Gina got her DUI. And here's Gina showing empathy and support to Shannon. While Tamra, who's supposed to be her freaking friend, not only doesn't have her back the whole season, actively seeks out a friendship with Alexis, the new girlfriend and now fiance of Shannon's ex. But she participates in trying to take Shannon down. And just because she's on the couch and she's just realizing like, oh shit, Alexis does sound like an idiot. Oh, this isn't going the way I wanted it to. And now she has watched when they filmed this reunion. In my opinion, Tamra's watched enough of the season to know that this is a sinking ship. This whole takedown Shannon movement you try to do didn't work. The audience isn't buying it and you look like a really shitty friend. And if you do believe your friend really does have a drinking problem, this is not the way to handle it. And you're just looking like messy, mean Tamra. So now it's like Andy's giving her this like, you know, this throwing, you know, softballs at her, just going, right? Instead of acknowledging like, look at Emily and Gina, this is awesome. Tamra, she seemed to silently support you. No, that bitch should have vocally supported Shannon. She was awful to Shannon this season. It was hard to watch. And this is Tamra's pattern. So then we get this fake ass hug of maybe you should hug. No, we've seen Tamra do this a million times with Vicky and even with Shannon. We've seen Trace Amigas do this. It's over. It is over, baby. Like when you are at your lowest, I think everyone in the chat can agree, how your friends treat you at your lowest is really the deciding factor of a true friend. When you need them and you are low down, and if they just decide to kick you and bury you even more, that's not a friend. And that's what Tamra did. Where someone like Gina, she didn't even have to, but she knew it was like the right thing to do to show empathy and support. But we all would have understood if she would have thrown it in Shannon's face and said, screw you. You threw this back at me so many times. I'm not going to be here for you. But she still chose to support Shannon and to recognize that what John and Alexis were doing was wrong. While Tamra just participated in it. She hates Shannon, but she knows that she wants back on this show. So it was so fake, you guys. It was the fakest shit I have ever seen. And then Andy's like, you're doing good, Tamra. I'm trying. She's going to go, you know, this is before she did her first and only that we know of therapy session where she came out and said, I'm on the spectrum. And we're all like, girl, please don't disrespect people on the spectrum and disrespect mental health as a whole by saying you went to therapy one time, you're on the spectrum, and that's going to somehow use that as an excuse for your bad behavior. People on the spectrum don't act like that. That has nothing to do with any of this. Also, you went to therapy one time. That's not how it works. When someone is diagnosing you that quick, you got to go to another doctor. Go to another doctor. So yeah, the deciding factor on if it's a good friend. So then they hug and I'm like, oh, this is some bullshit. Then they pick the cameras back up for the first time in like Housewives history after the reunion films were usually like, bye, see you later. Some of you we won't. And we head over to Emily's house where Heather and Tamra forgot. They're like, oopsies, I forgot. After the finale party, which was Jen Patchouli, after her tacky 80s bridesmaid engagement party, we went out to eat. Heather and Terry and Tamra and Eddie, we went out to eat with John Jansen, Alexis, and John happened to mention that he did hear the crash. Yeah, when you were drunk and left his house, you guys were in a fight, and he heard you crash into the house by his house, even though that was like a big question throughout the season and in the reunion. If John ever heard anything, and it's one of those things, they got mad at Shannon because they were like, you're talking about it on Jeff Lewis, but then you told Heather something else. And this was a big like fighting point and a big like point they used against Shannon, that no, you think that he heard it and you're acting like you don't even think about that. And now they have known since finale night that John did hear the crash, and he admitted it to them. Not only did he admit to them, they saw that he heard the crash and that he said he was going to go out and check, but his daughter said, no, it's too dangerous. You guys are mad. I'll go look. And then she said, yeah, she crashed into the house, one of the neighbors' houses, and she pulled away and drove away. And then he also told them that Shannon punched him that night, and they decided, oh, we forgot. Heather's like, I write down notes for the reunion, but I just forgot that part. You wouldn't forget that part. That was huge between Heather and Shannon throughout the whole season. That was one of the reasons Tamara and Heather had for going at Shannon. Like, oh, she's lying. She's a liar. Look what she's doing. And she's acting this way on a podcast and this way when she's talking to me. Oh my God. Oh my God. And they just forgot. Emily and Gina were like, you did not forget. So then Tamara shows up, and then they tell Shannon this, and it just feels like it's so disingenuous. It's so gross that they wouldn't have cleared this up at the reunion, and that they needed Emily and Gina to kind of pull this out of them for them to do the right thing and have their supposed friends back. In a 3-part reunion, you didn't remember John Jansen gave you the details of the DUI accident in question between him and Shannon Bedore. I was like, are you serious? You both are the worst. Like, at this point, I'm like, I don't even care if Heather or Tamara come back. Get out of here. I know they're coming back, but like, garbage. So then Tamara's like, yeah, I wanted to tell you, I really do care about you, Shannon. Shannon's like, okay. But Shannon, at this point, she's like so beat down in these friendships and with, her friends siding with her ex's new fiance and them trying to take her down, and her friends seemingly helping in all that she's like, okay, yeah, I feel like I bonded with you guys. And Gina goes, well, maybe, the problem is John Jansen. I'm like, no, Gina, don't give her an out like that. Because now Tamara's like, let's just forget it ever happened. And Shannon says, I feel so bonded to you ladies. And thank you. And Heather's like, yes, I am a good person. And it was so stupid. This whole thing is dumb. So they're just going to use Alexis as the scapegoat, which you're so stupid, Alexis, for being the scapegoat for John and being the scapegoat for Heather and Tamara. When you've been on this show before, I know it's been 10 years, but Tamara went at you relentlessly. Jesus jug. She attacked you. She kicked you out of places. She took every opportunity she could to embarrass you. And you left yourself open and vulnerable because you wanted to go after Shannon Bedore, John's ex, so bad for what? I don't know. Because John told you to. So you partnered up with Tamara, who would be the first person to throw you under the bus. And she did. As did Heather. And here we are. So now, everyone after seeing that 3rd part of the reunion, I'm going to say probably 90% of the audience is like, Alexis sucks. This is stupid. John Jansen got too much screen time. Don't have Alexis back. It wasn't fun to watch. Horrible. Alexis puts out this statement on her social media. She said, I just had a chance to watch the reunion of Real Housewives of Orange County season 18. I'm letting everyone know that I'm broken by this season. I was already broken by losing my mom 3 months prior to filming. So it was a difficult decision to sign back on. Yet I went in thankful. It brought me out of bed and out of depression. But now I have been beaten down so badly, so wrongly, and so many truths left out. The truth doesn't matter when you and John's delivery is so awful at this point. People are like, fuck the truth. We don't even care if she did borrow the money and doesn't want to pay him back. You guys are just being awful. So much left on the cutting room floor. So now she's blaming editing. She's blaming production. That would have been brought so much hate, or that would have never brought so much hate to me and my family. So she's saying if production would have shown what they had, the receipts and stuff, she wouldn't have gotten so much hate to her and her family. First of all, no one's hating on your family, just you. No one's hating on your kids. Nope, just you. Stop bringing your family into it. If you're talking about John, you're not family yet. Okay. You got to make it to the wedding, girl. So she said, there are receipts, many, and they will be brought out this week. We don't care. We don't want them. No one's going to pay attention. It's stupid. You're ridiculous. The lawsuit only finalized because the opposition, being Shannon, knew we had receipts to bring to court. No, she wanted to settle before, but you guys wanted her to sign this stupid non-disparagement thing because of his knees, his teeth, and some pairs of shoes. So dumb. So, yeah, she only paid $60K of the $75. Good for her. I'm glad. I wish she would only paid $2, but here we are. But thank you for the $60K. Well, that's not yours. It's your fiance's. You're not even wedded yet, but okay, you're already claiming his money. John gave you a discount. Bitch, shut up. This is so stupid. The lie that someone paid for everything is squashed by the fact that our forensic accountant did. Of what our forensic accountant did. You did not waste a forensic accountant's time with this bullshit, but they did. $50K spent by John year one, then $380K over 3 years. That seems light. He should have paid more. With a face like that, he should be paying more. No offense, all offense. Then 2 loans of $75K, which she finally had to pay because the evidence would have squashed her in court. Alexis, oh my God. Truth prevails. This is a TLDR. I'm surprised I'm reading this. Too long. No, thank you. Then, okay, so, oh, geez. Then 2 loans of $75K that she finally had to pay because the evidence was squashed her in court. Truth prevails. It's unfortunate that I didn't get the opportunity for those receipts to be shown at the reunion, although they were brought by me and they were very available to be shown. So now, what? So you could have shown us that John claims he spent this amount of money on his girlfriend? Tacky, gross, nobody cares. You should. You're dating a housewife. It's going to cost you. Shut up. Oh my goodness. This is never how I would have thought or wanted it to happen, but you actively did this. I also want it to be known that I never thought I'd be brought back this season to be the villain. Oh, so you thought you were going to be the hero to take down Shannon? I thought you've been doing reality TV for 15 years. You should know better. You should really know better. Maybe you should go back and get another degree in common sense. If I had known that I never would have signed, I live in love. You live in a man's shadow and taking up for problematic men. That's what you do. Not anger or hate or villainous. You came at Shannon in a villainous nature with anger and hate. It was truly disgusting to watch. I truly lay awake every night wondering why it was portrayed this way, because that's how you acted. That's what you did. Unfortunately, this season made a hit show at my John's expense. Girl, no. 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 I thought my beating all season would be finally advocated for at the reunion, and the truth would prevail. You said the truth does prevail. Sometimes God has a different plan. Don't bring God into this. He doesn't want this mess. He didn't tell you to get with this problematic man and then go after the problematic man's ex. God would not tell you that. I guarantee it. Okay. I will now use my own platform and my voice to share the truth with you because I do not live in toxicity, falsehoods, hateful behavior, victimhood, or lies. You have shown toxicity with this. You have shown many falsehoods with this. I've been single a year. Okay. Hateful behavior. Yeah. Very hateful behavior toward Shannon. A woman you allegedly don't know. And that well. And victimhood or lies. Yeah, you've been a victim. And the lies, obviously, with the falsehoods. I signed on to reality, and now I will bring the reality to light. Nobody's going to watch and nobody's going to care. You lost the Housewives platform. I doubt they'll bring you back. And if they don't bring you back, no one's going to go to your personal social media to see this shit because we don't care. Please put in the chat if someone cares. Is anyone, please, dear Lord, someone write it in the chat if I'm wrong here. Totally fine. Is anyone going to go actively search for this information on Alexis's social media because we're that invested in John and Alexis and their truth getting out? Does anybody care? Okay. Yeah, Evelyn says, the I am a Christian woman defense, not working. Witnesses, I don't give a fudge. Janine says, absolutely not. No one can see. You guys did such a horrible job this season bringing something on board that we weren't even invested in. Once it became, she owes me money for a facelift, we're like, what? We thought it was just going to be like, Alexis coming on, dating Shannon's ex. That might be interesting. You know, they ended this pretty badly with like this DUI and this, you know, fight they had. But we didn't think it was going to be all about finances, what he spent, what she spent. Nobody cares. You're in a relationship. Charge it to the game. And Lala, nope, no one cares. Jen says, Redwolf says, hell no. Yvonne says no. Missy says nope. Shine says, but we are just right now when she's on the show. But I'm saying after she's off the show, like after it's done. I just don't see people going to her for the truth. If blogs cover it, you know, but I don't even think they'll cover it that much. Like people don't care. You tuned it out. Now we have to hear medical history, Alexis. Ew. Lala. And Lala. So she's going to bring it to light. I never act or become a victim. You are doing both of those things. I will simply live with God and stand in truth. He prevails. Hashtag stay tuned. No. You're off the show now. No. Unless it becomes like a Dateline episode, which I hope it doesn't. No one's going to be into this. Okay. It's just weird. You have negotiations for boobies, Alexis. Don't make that stuff public. No. And also when they were talking about the actual video and showing it, John's like, I will show it to Shannon if she wants to see how big, what a real monster looks like. And Alexis, he's like, I'll just show it just to her. And Alexis says, with me present. Like you are involving yourself. It's weird. It's dumb. Who at your age would want to encourage your significant other to continue to fight with their ex and then also participate in the fight you know nothing about because you weren't there during the relationship? Just like Emily Simpson said, you can't deny how Shannon felt in that relationship. You weren't there, and those are her feelings. So it just doesn't make any sense. Nobody cares. Jen says, I'm mad at Bravo for giving that toxic woman and her gross boyfriend a platform. Plus, I heard she's very rude to fans. Girl, bye. I really thought maybe Alexis had changed after all this time. No. We're going to talk about that tomorrow, Cammie. We have to dive into the Lala, like Cammie saying Lala, allegedly saying Jessica was looking for her 15 minutes. And then Sheena talked about it on her podcast. We'll get to it tomorrow because we're 2.5 hours in. My voice is starting to hurt, but I had so much to talk to you guys about. So sorry for talking your ear off, you guys. But this has been the last, all these stories, everything was happening. And I'm like, we got to get on a no offense, all offense. Alex says, are they going to sue Archie next? Like, dang, move on with your life. You're trying to paint the picture that Shannon's obsessed with you, but Shannon's not doing anything obsessing about you guys. You guys are only obsessing about her. And the fact that John has brought his new girlfriend into this situation with his ex, it's just more proof that this is not going to last. It just won't last. A normal, healthy relationship, and I know there's no such thing as normal, but I should just say a healthy relationship would never start this way. With you fighting someone's ex. Like, I feel like they're hate bonding. And once they don't have Shannon to kick and pick on and point out all her flaws, then what do they have in common? What are they going to do? I mean, she says they allegedly have sex 4 times a day, but you cannot have sex 4 times a day and still have time for all this Shannon slander. You just couldn't. There's not enough hours in the day to fit, unless John is, quick like a bunny, but I just don't. First of all, it's again the people that have to brag about how many times they're having sex. They're not having sex like that. People who are having a healthy sex life and are happy sexually don't have to go and prove it to anybody. 4 times, man, be quiet. You're going to break that man. He is elderly. Okay. The Viagra, you're going to pop his wiener off. It's not supposed to get hard that much because there's no way that is happening without a little blue pill. Not the way this guy allegedly drinks and with the age. Come on now. Catherine says, why were Jen and Katie not at the last part? They were, but we didn't really get to hear a bunch, I mean, they did, there was like calling out, how can you be friends with Alexis? But I'm like, Tamra and Heather are right there. So ask them. And Emily's like, I did ask them. quietly. Well, do it audibly so we can hear. Yeah, not at his age and his alcohol level. You don't get 4 boners a day. Okay? Young men struggle with that. So definitely moldy oldie John Jansen, no offense, all offense, is going to be popping 4 boners a day and still having time to hate on Shannon. He's got so much hate in his heart, he probably can't get a boner. I mean, technically it's a rager and the cager, but no. He was probably putting it down when love bombing Alexis. She's sprung. Lady Steph says, I typically want people to stay together, but with this lady and John, I really hope that it does not work out, which I feel bad for saying. I just want Shannon to have her haha moment. Lady Steph, I don't blame you. And I also think it would be good for Alexis that it didn't work out. Who wants to be with this dude? Alexis needs to recognize her pattern before she goes off and plays the victim and how bad editing. You need to recognize your pattern, which the Peacock version of the third part of the reunion pointed out, that you get sprung by these problematic men and then you cape for them, you go to bat for them, and it's not good for you. And it never serves you well. It never gets you into good friendships. You're just going to be the mouthpiece for toxic dudes. It's not good. Okay. Yeah. Johnny Geritol is not popping 4 boners a day. And if he is with a little blue pill and he's in danger of losing his wiener. Okay. How long do I give this lovely couple? I mean, I always go back to the Vicky Gumbel side. Give it 5 years. I don't even give it 5 years. I'll be surprised if they make it to the altar. I feel like they might, just to spite Shannon. But after that, you're looking at a man who is so petty and so vindictive and such a liar. I was single for a year and out to get his ex. You think he's not going to do that to you? You think the minute he'll flip the switch and show you who he is. He hasn't shown Alexis. Well, he has, and how he treats Shannon, but he hasn't shown Alexis in the way he treats her. It doesn't seem like who he really is. But men like this, they have a switch. They might love bomb you in the beginning. It's like it's like the cliched toxic abusive relationship early on. It's like the love bombing and you're so great. And then that switch, once they got you, that switch goes off and you'll see it. And you will see it. Cammie says 2 years tops. Yeah, Pam came up with Johnny Geritol, Pamela B. That was a great one. So that's all, you guys. Thank you so much, everyone who joined me live. I'm sorry I didn't get to all of your comments in the live chat, but please comment after the video post so I can hear what you guys had to say. Thank you to all my super chatters today: David Kushmore, Christina, Pamela B. Shout out to my members. Shout out to my mods. You guys are amazing. Everyone who joined, make sure you're subbed, hit that like, comment after the video post. If you're not already, follow me on social media at Joleen Lunzer on Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter, because it'll never be X to me. I know I have to get over to the blue sky or I haven't got on it yet, you guys. But follow me over there. I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your Friday, wherever you are in the world, or maybe you're into Saturday already. I did schedule a live for tomorrow, and we will get into the Lala versus Jessica with Sheena now involved, and we'll dissect and roast and recap that. But you guys are all amazing, beautiful sugar plum babies, because it is Christmas season to me. It has already started. So I will talk to you guys soon. Always remember to enjoy yourself, because it's later than you think. Bye.
If you like what you see.